Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340. WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Pretty stack-packed and pretty jacked with you on a Thursday. Tony Basilio along with you. Exciting time to be alive. We got the NFL draft tonight. I don't know what to feel here. Tennessee, it would be great to get 2 first-rounders tonight. I do know that. There's an interesting correlation. If you look on the blog today, I did a little research, which is kind of scary when I start doing research. But there is a correlation between winning and first-round draft picks and winning at a high level in college football. As I bring in Matt Diskin and Brian Hartman. And guys, why do you think that is? Why do you think Georgia in their elite years was having 5 and 6 first-round draft picks, and now they're not? Alabama. And by the way, what is Alabama doing giving this guy this? Have they been watching the past couple of seasons? What are they doing giving this guy the keys to the castle like that? What do you have, naked pictures on somebody? What are we doing? Matt, it is interesting. We need two first-rounders tonight, Matt. Be a great thing for the program.
Yeah, gives you some credibility, visibility. You got to keep turning out, high-end draft picks and high-end talent. You've got to have the high-end talent to win in college and in the NFL. So obviously, having those guys, they're just required to win in college football, to win in the SEC. So,
yes.
Of course, I guess Tennessee's problem is the highest guy that's going to get drafted didn't even play last year, which was kind of one of the reasons your secondary was so bad.
Yes. Here's another thing that's going on right now. Moving parts here. They're talking about, if you look at Dellinger's reporting, this 5th-year rule, making it retroactive that guys could be coming back to college in these different sports. They're talking about going back to the past season and even dipping back, the belief is, into the last football season. And so if you have a 5th year, if you've only played 4 years, you could get a 5th. That means there could be, if they do this, I don't know if they're going to do this or how it's going to work, but there could be a supplemental type of window where you could add, say, a quarterback if you're Tennessee and you wanted to. Matt, these guys just cannot figure out the rules, can they? It's just exhausting, isn't it, as a fan? Like yesterday, it's
stupid. Yeah. It's not sustainable at all. I don't know when the dam breaks on all this. But at some point, this salaries, rosters, salaries going up so much every year. Like I don't know when the end point is because the sports are so popular and so just ingrained in culture and on campuses especially. But it's just maddening to have all this, and literally you don't know who's eligible, who's not. It can change with a court ruling. I mean, basically everybody's eligible except Joey Aguilar, pretty much.
Yes. And look, I mean, he's like a 7-year guy. So, I mean, that was going to be a long shot anyway. But here's the thing. Now, if you're hyping them, you might get
the exact same ruling. That's the thing. Like nobody's playing with the same playing field.
That's a good point.
There's just no rules at all.
That's a good point.
And Diego Pavia got the thing, and Aguilar didn't. Chambliss did. There's just no rules to follow. You can throw money at anybody. I don't know. It's just college sports are at such a crossroads, and I just don't know. There's no real solutions either. That's the big issue. There's not easy solutions to any of this.
No, there are no solutions. And one of the reasons, I was talking with somebody today that's been in college sports all their life, one of the reasons why they're talking about doing this retroactive thing, because as soon as they announce it, a few athletes from right now that want to keep the gravy train going, say somebody that's not going to play in the NBA but a pretty good college basketball player, for instance, is going to sue them. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to win. They're going to win. I want my fifth year. And the reason they're doing this is that it adds a little more stability to these sports. That's my understanding. Plus, it makes the product better for television. The guys are a little older. There's never been a worse time to be a freshman entering college sports than right now. Never been a worse time. And as far as like the NIL stuff goes, you get peanuts when you're a kid now coming into these deals. It's incredible to me that an JP Estrella can make like $4 million in the open market. That's nuts. It's incredible to me he can make $1.5 million. When we were talking about it back in February here, we were like, yeah, Tennessee kind of thinks it could take $1.5 million. That's going to be his agent's fee by the time this thing's over. And so, do you guys think, Brian, you and Matt, that if they go with this fifth year thing and there are a bunch of quarterbacks that are laying out there that don't get picked by the NFL, the spring league's already started, they're not in that. Should we, Brian Hartman, I start with you, should the Vols kick some tires on some guys and try to get somebody in here in the summer like they did last year in light of the developments of the spring, or do you roll with what you have?
They absolutely need to kick the tires. But they can still be somewhat selective if they want to let Faison sort of feel his way around like Bryce Underwood did last year.
Yeah.
I always thought the best thing for Faison would be if Joey Aguilar got that last year, got his extra year, and Faison could learn under him and develop and be ready to go in 27. If there's someone that they think can come in and have that type of impact, yes, they absolutely need to do that.
Matt, what say you? Knowing and you got pretty great sources inside the football deal that kind of tell you that spring quarterback play from GMAC wasn't exactly how do we put this? I mean, look, a lot can change in a few months, but it wasn't exactly bringing hope, Matt. I think that's probably a fair way of putting it.
Yeah, pretty underwhelming.
Yep.
I mean, if there's a guy out there that you can bring in, sure. You did. I mean, basically, it'd be what you did last year, just on an even probably more expedited, process because you just did it with Aguilar last year, who didn't go through spring with you, so. It'd kind of be that thing all over again. If somebody like that's out there, I'm not sure who all that could be at this point, but Yeah, I mean, you always have to be exploring those things. And in this era, you have to do silly stuff like this.
Correct.
And try to find goals and try to find ways to save money here or there with roster. Like anything to gain a competitive edge, you have to just try to do.
One of the league programs in basketball.
A guy from the G League.
That's exactly right.
2 weeks.
Well, how about this one, Matt?
Stupid.
One of the, I think it was A&M last night, committed a player from the G League last night. Committed a guy, which I don't know how that's going to work, but that's what we're doing. I don't know. Here's the thing about any of this stuff is you can't tell me anything that's going to surprise me now, because what they've got is they've got total anarchy. Look, Danny White and I, when it comes to sports and life and stuff, probably don't agree with many things. But one thing we do agree on is they cannot continue to go the way they are. This is not sustainable. And by the way, the winds are blowing, and I'm hearing the way the winds are blowing that the Wrigley Field of parking garage is G10 at Waveland and Addison on UT's campus. I'm hearing it could be safe for another year. I'm hearing the Danny Dollars district is very much up in the air right now. Danny Dollars district. So kind of file that one away and let's see what happens. This is from Andy Slater, Slater Scoop. See, when you can play in the NFL and you can wreak havoc, and it's the most powerful sport in the world, sport in our world anyway. Brian, what is before we get to the James Pierce news, and then I've got some Nate Ament stuff, we got some baseball, we got a whole bunch of stuff we need to talk about. Hey, Brian, what's your level of interest? Well, let's do this. Because I asked a question today over on my Twitter, or today I decided to tweet. I actually decided to tweet, or X, or whatever I'm doing. And so if you want to go take the poll over there with the 30-some thousand people that follow along, but I want to take your temperature here. Tonight, on your radar, share this with me. Tonight, you'll be more interested in UT Bama baseball, NFL first round, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Rank them, Bri.
I'll say Tennessee baseball with Bama is number one.
Okay.
The NFL draft is number two.
Okay.
The NBA playoffs is number three,
okay.
And the NHL playoffs is number 4.
So far, we've had 23 whole votes in 3 hours. I mean, that is a lot of engagement. Would you get over there and vote and quit make me look like a damn stupid sheep for putting that out there? Go to Tony Basilio on X and vote, please. And then we'll come back and revisit here later on in the hour how those listening to the show actually feel. But taking your temperature, right now 48% of the respondents say UT Bama baseball, 43% say NFL first round, 0% say NBA playoffs, and 9% say NHL playoffs. Matt Diskin, I will ask you question number 2, and I would encourage folks to go, and we're going to start doing this over on Twitter. I've decided I'm going to quit being a goofball. Taking your temperature. Vols-Bama series begins tonight. It snuck up on us. Quick week. Tuesday night baseball, Thursday night baseball. What happens this series? Vols sweep, Bama sweep. Vols win series, Tide win series. Matt, what you got?
I got Vols winning the series. I think they take two out of 3. Even if they lose tonight.
Wow. Because the kid going tonight from Bama is very good, right?
Yeah, their ace pitcher, really good righty.
Yep.
Tennessee hits lefties a whole lot better than righties.
Yes.
I just think it's a week for Tennessee to win 2 out of 3 and start turning this thing around.
He's kind of a lead out loud, isn't he?
for a college pitcher, Tyler Fay. We'll see what happens. It's maybe you can work his pitch count up and get him out of the game early, or maybe you just hammer him. Who knows? You've hit well the last 2 games.
It's called baseball, guys, right?
Yep. The Little Giants just beat the Dodgers the last 2 nights.
There we go. Tony Valls is fixing to get a text from me.
Nearly shut him out, I think.
Tony Valls is fixing to get a text from me here in the next little bit. You know why?
What, they scored 1 run in 2 games?
Brian, why do you think Tony Valls is getting a text from me? What do you think? Because they're
about to sweep a series against the Dodgers, maybe.
Hell no. Don't care about that. He's getting ready to get a text from me because the Giants are playing in Philly, and I've got friends that want to go see those series. And they've said that they're either going to wear Vol stuff or Giant stuff. And in the case of Joe O'Sullivan, both.
They're going to wear orange.
Matt, were there some Vol fans there? And Tony's going to hook them up.
There was, I'd say, 25 or 30 Tennessee people at all 3 of the games.
It's unbelievable. There used to be days where we'd had 25 or 30 at a college game here. And the guy had 25 or 30 up there in Cincinnati. And some of you haters, he always works Tony Vitello. Slater scoop. Falcons' James Pierce Jr. will have all his charges dismissed if he completes a program offered to him by the state of Florida, he said, I've learned. Details are still being worked out. Pierce Jr. would have to attend therapy sessions, stay out of trouble for over a 6-month period. The second part there, see how I put this, and anybody that was at UT when he was there absolutely holding their breath with him and Rickea Jackson, like Sid and Nancy. Let me see how we're going to put. And I'm not judging the guy, but I'll take the under on that, Alex, for 50. His attorney, Yale Sanford, Bry. His attorney is a guy named Yale Sanford. Andy Slater reports, tells me the victim, Rickea Jackson, and police officers in the case spoke with the state attorney's office and agreed to this as well.
Do you think that Yale Sanford works with someone named Princeton Brown?
I knew you would love the name Yale Sanford, bro. You're a sucker for names. You're a sucker. A sucker for names. We come back on the other side. Look, I don't know if it's going to happen. I was telling you the whole time during this crazy transfer portal stuff, which is really just nuts. Now, don't get me wrong. It's fun to cover. We've got good sources. It was fun to sort of be in the middle of that and use the term point guard one and, all that stuff. But point guard one has turned into big fish two. As in big fish for year number 2. As in big tuna. As in get some healthy wheels. As in get some healthy wheels and move up into the top 5 in the 2026-2027 draft. As in, when I first heard this last week, I guess last week, because that portal thing was like 18 days old, it's the middle of the portal. I don't know, maybe a little longer than that. But anyway, when I first heard this notion, and here's the way it was spun to me. There's a remote chance that Big Tuna 2 ends up here if PG1 doesn't. Now, PG1, as we now know, is Tyler Tanner. And PG1 chose to stay where he's at. Tennessee really tried to pull him into the boat. They really tried, and they thought they had him. They were kind of telling people. There were big boosters around town, hey, we got this guy. And those of you that know. Those of you that don't. It's fine. But I was not doing that for sport, as some people have accused me. But I got to admit to you, this Ament thing, well, let's talk about it on the other side. It's I'm starting to hear some smoke. I'm starting to hear some smoke around this. We'll talk about how this could be coming down. How and why, and if it makes sense. And I'm going to kick us around with a panel. And then we have a lot to talk about. So your interest level, I want to know from you tonight. What are you more interested in? Tonight's pivotal baseball series for the baseball team or the NFL draft? There are people out there that love our baseball Vols, but love the NFL draft. And I don't poo-poo anything. I was freaking out in my house. Laura was like, "You're turning into a nut," last night when one of the Penguins players, Rust, did one of the dirtiest things I've seen in a hockey game in a long time. It made me feel good about America and about hockey because he basically tackled Konechny and got him down on the ground. And Konechny was at one point kicked him with his skate, and it was pretty ugly. It's pretty next level. But we'll get into that. I want to talk about, would you go get a quarterback in light of this reporting around the fifth-year deal? If you're the Vols, would you right now be looking at the lists of who's not going to get drafted and get on the phone with some agents and say, hey, do not sign a camp arm contract? And then if you're those kids, would you sign a camp arm contract or would you wait for this ruling? Because it looks like they're getting ready to retroactively kick this thing back. And I guess if they kick this thing back, people are wondering, could Tennessee get involved with that Gillespie guy? I mean, Jacoby Gillespie. I don't know. I guess it's all on the table now. And as Matt says, when you're sort of making it up as you go along, none of this makes any sense. But would you go get a quarterback? We'll talk about Big Tuna 2 now that PG1 has decided to stay where he's at. Big Tuna 2 incoming. More as we continue in your Hour 1 Thursday edition Basilio show. We're live tomorrow. Calhoun's on the river. Bing! There. And remember, Garza Law, Tennessee, extra innings after the Tennessee baseball game goes final. Hey, Matt, what time's the start time on Saturday? Do you have that in front of you? Or no?
On Saturday? I don't have it in front of me now.
I think it's 1 o'clock Saturday.
Oh, it's perfecto, Chico. Perfecto, Chico. As we continue with more on the other side right after the...
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Achillio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. I mean, the fact that, as I welcome you back, the fact that we're having this conversation talks about the absurdity of all this stuff, but it's absurd. And we're in an absurd time. And one thing that's the transfer portal's taught me, and watching Tennessee try to navigate this thing, is you better be nimble, and you better respond to the ebbs and flows of it. And I think they've been pretty good about that. Now, last year they got caught in Two-Guard Island. And then what they did is, after the fact, they went into the portal, went in the bargain basement bin, and swung on some guys. And, you know, those guys, they weren't hits. They were whatever. But my question for you is, where do you put the draft? Where do you put the draft tonight versus the baseball versus NBA, NHL? Rank them for me in terms of what you're looking at tonight. The thing that's crazy about everything that's going on in the portal right now and what we're seeing in the transfer portal and what doesn't make any sense about the transfer portal, and none of this makes any sense to me. I mean, none of this makes any sense. So the whole thing with the draft and trying to navigate around this stuff, and here's what we're talking about. There were reports out there today that college sports and their infinite wisdom and the college sports commissioner, who I believe his name is Baker, the NCAA is so invisible now. That used to be, we would all know that guy's name. We would know where he was from. We would know everything about him. This Baker guy's like a Politico type from, where's he from? Connecticut, maybe? But here's the thing.
He's the former governor of Massachusetts.
Thank you. I knew he was somewhere in the New England. I should have just said New England, Bry. Home of the New England Patriots, a.k.a. the Boston Patriots. Former AFL franchise. Bry, by the way, I like the Patriots snapping the football as their logo. Do you agree with that? Versus the Tom Brady era deal.
I do too. I think that's a classic. The cartoon classic logos are the best.
Hey, Matt, speaking of which, Tom Brady made a great point the other day in an interview. He was talking about, he said one thing he watches when he looks at a film of a young quarterback is when his team scores in college football. Do the players come over after he throws a touchdown pass and celebrate with him? Or is he out there on his own celebrating by himself? He said, I want guys whose teammates rush to his side to celebrate with him. Isn't that an interesting observation, Matt Diskin, I ask you? I think it's an interesting observation from him.
Yeah, it's something we've kind of talked about that in the past with how guys celebrate. And, and it kind of gives you an indication of where a quarterback stands within his team and in the locker room. And that's not a given anymore with all the just, moving around and quarterbacks just don't stay at a school.
Yep.
That is something that's not a given that used to be kind of pretty well established, because regardless of how long they've been there or how much they've played or how good they are, your quarterback is kind of by default the leader of your football team, no matter what, your starting quarterback. And so I think that is a pretty good point.
Here are some guys. Now we're talking about, and I'm going to get into this Ament thing too. Okay, here's the Ament thing. We had talked, I don't know, a week or so ago, and it just seemed like fantasy to me. First of all, Tyler Tanner to Tennessee seemed like fantasy to me, even when we were talking about it. But they were going for it. And they were talking to him from January on. And they gave it the old college try with him, and I give them credit for that. But you always have to have a backup plan. One of their backup plans was, if we can't get him, Nate Ament is starting to get, I guess you would say, mixed messages from the NBA as to whether or not he's going to end up in the high lottery. Right now it looks like he's going to end up in the back of the lottery, if he ends up in the lottery. Maury Hanks was on here with us a couple weeks ago talking about the implications of that. The implications of that are really profuse for those guys. And you have a decision on your hand if you're him and you're his camp. And sand's gone through the hourglass. I think tomorrow's the deadline for it. And the thing about the portal, there's like a misconception. People think, well, when the portal closes, your team is formed. No, it's not. No, it's not. Like we were telling you about Juke Harris. The Juke Harris thing is going to take a while. Now, I thought at one point, and they thought at one point last week, that Jukey boy, or Jukey baby as I'm calling him, the Jukester, would go out to California, work out, and hear information that he was going to be a second-round pick, which he is. and then say, you know what, I'm gonna come public on Wednesday, and I'm gonna do my thing with the Vols. Well, Wednesday was yesterday. I don't think I have to share with you where we are. There are reports out there and a belief that Nate Ament's still going to class. I don't know whether he is or not. I'm not enrolled at University of Tennessee. I'm not on the campus. I'm always careful about talking about things like that because I don't know whether he is or not, but people are saying that. So let's just go off under the supposition that he's still going to class. And apparently he's still in our midst, too, which is another thing. If guys move away and they cut the cord, then it's done. But obviously, here's the thing. Internally from UT, there's chatter. There's like chatter. And that's all I can share with you. There's chatter. Matt, I put this on your plate here. Once PG1 and the concept of that flew the coop, which I think Tennessee knew as last week wore on, hey, this guy doesn't get in the portal soon. Imagine if their plan would have come to fruition and he had jumped in the portal on the front end, what kind of team they could have put around. They've got a pretty damn good portal haul as it is. Imagine what they could have done if they would have gotten him in the portal first. But anyway, I digress. Matt, what would you do? If you're Nate Ament right now, Tennessee's got I think they've got another $8 to $10 million to play around with. I'm telling you, Danny White and Tennessee's NIL kind of knows that football is, I don't want to say they're in for a long one, but probably not in for a playoff run. And then you have to deal with the Lady Vol mess that Danny White's made, and it's a mess. And her roster looks, no offense, I know some of you are getting excited about it. I'm not here to rain on anybody's parade. I mean, hell, I've sat here and watched a Flyers team and sweated it every night, and they had about zero chance of getting into the playoffs this year, and they're getting ready to win a round, which makes no sense to me. So who am I to say that anything can or can't happen? But Lady Vol team, on paper, compared to the good teams in the SEC, they have about zero chance with the players they've amassed here so far. Matt, if you're them with Nate Ament, what are you doing here? What are you doing, Matt?
I mean, you try to get him to come back to school.
If you're him, though, what are you doing? Would you risk it?
You can make the case that it makes a lot of sense, even financially, for him to come back with how good the draft is this year, this kind of generational draft, how much development he needs, how great of a college player he could be, on top of making $7 or $8 million doing it, which has never been the case before. It's at least more feasible than it has been with other past stars to do it. If you're Tennessee, I think you can sell him on that. He can, score, be 25, 30 points a game kind of guy and just take over the sport next year.
Totally,
he has that kind of ability.
Tennessee believed, and they were selling Tyler Tanner on this. You come to our school, you can win the Naismith Award. I think you turn right around and you have that conversation with Nate Ament next year about next season. And I think, Matt, with a straight face, you could do that with him. I mean, it gives me chills thinking about it. But you come back, Nate, we'll double your salary from what we had last year. They've got the money. We're already talking about that. They've got the money. They're hell-bent on competing at the highest level. Here's the other thing, Matt. Not only do you get to do that, but you come back and right now, Nate, I mean, let's look at it. We love you. We're for you, not against you. But you're slotted anywhere from 8 at the very best, 8 at the best. That's top of the mark for him Old Man on Pawn Stars, top of the mark, 8. All the way back to 14, 15, 16, I don't know if that's a risk I'd take if I were him. Because you get to 15, 16 in that neighborhood, and you're all of a sudden, you're in danger of getting into the bus leagues. It's just how it is in the NBA. It's a very, 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 very difficult. That's a world-level sport, and it's very difficult to stick in that league, especially for a spindly guy like him. It's got to sort of grow into his body. Another thing I sell him, Matt, is Garrett Medenwald could put 40 pounds of muscle on you, 30 pounds of whatever it is. But we could turn you from a boy to a man. Boy to a man. The gamble for him is, I don't want to be like the Toppin guy at Texas Tech, Matt. That's a gamble. Bird in the hand.
He's already been through one injury.
Yeah, bird in the hand is worth.
Oh, I mean, he had multiple injuries.
Two in the bush. Yeah, he was hurt all year.
That caused him to miss time.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
I'm not so sure, Matt, if I wasn't the Vols, if I would take a photo of the wrestler El Gigante from back in the day. Matt, are you too young to remember El Gigante?
Yeah, that's not going to help get Nate Ament back, Tom.
Do you remember him?
No, I don't.
All right, let me show you something.
I don't know what you're going. That's not going to help get Nate Ament back.
Hang on. I'm going to show the listener what El Gigante looked like. El Gigante.
You're showing pictures of Admiral Schofield and Grant Williams, their transformation body-wise.
You show him El Gigante's body. El Gigante was a tall, skinny, 7'4" guy from Argentina, Jorge Gonzalez. And WCW put a bodysuit on him, Matt, that was all like muscles. He was all muscled up, and he was El Gigante, and he literally was the worst.
Oh, yeah, the Gonzalez. Yeah,
you remember that? The guy with
at one of the outdoor Summer Slams or WrestleMania.
El Gigante.
Yeah, I don't know what he has to do with Nate Ament, but
that's what you do. You take him, you bring him aside, and you say, "This is you next year with your shirt off." By the time November rolls around, Garrett Medenwald says, and you won't need the plastic bodysuit for it. This is going to be you. So, I think it's interesting that Nate Ament has not said, I'm out. I think it's interesting that all this stuff. So, what I don't know is, do they still offer, because you don't hear of this anymore, those Lloyds of London policies? At one time, they used to give those out like candy. Everybody would get one. And that is, if I stay in school, I take out an insurance policy on myself against future earnings if I get injured, and it's like it's a risk policy. I don't know what you would call that. Those of you in the insurance industry can tell me. Do they still have those for an athlete like a Nate Ament in a spot like him, where the family could take out obviously the premium on something like that's got to be highly expensive, but when you're a young man could be poised, the guy made between $4 and $7 million this year playing basketball. Shoe company and what the Vols paid him. And that's the other thing about him.
And you're at a point now where the people paying you will pay that premium for you.
The policy. Yeah.
I assume they still have those. I was thinking about that the other week because you just don't hear about them anymore.
Yep.
But I assume that's still the case.
Yep. And then you have this thing out there all of a sudden, and I was telling Matt this during a timeout. All of a sudden, and I don't know if I said this on the air or off the air, but I'm going to say it on the air now. Kind of clouding this thing is this situation with Drew Karras, where Drew Karras, I I don't know. They're a little afraid he's just going to stay in the NBA draft and be like a second-round pick and get in the bus leagues. Which I'll tell you this right now, it would make 0 sense. Would make 0 sense. You mean tell me you'd rather be in the bus league? Even considering that would make no sense. Or on some NBA two-way deal than playing and staying in 5-star hotels? Playing a winter-spring season over here where you're playing in front of, on a snowy night. We had 4 inches of snow. And people came up from all different corners of the state. 18,000 people on a Saturday night when all the restaurants in the area were closed. Never seen anything like it. But here's the deal. Why would a guy like that, some guys just say, you know what, I'm ready to go start my basketball career. And you hope when you get involved in those guys, they're not going to do that. But that's the other thing. You're put in a position now in the portal where, okay, I fool with a guy, I get him, we agree to terms, which is, I think, where Tennessee is with him. And then all of a sudden he, and then they want you to go out like Barnes and them. They want you to have as much information you can have because when you come back, not only are you going to be a good teammate, but you're going to work on your game.
I can't imagine that they're going to pay him more in the bus leagues than they would here.
Oh, no, Bri, it's not even close. No, that's the other point.
That wouldn't make sense at all financially anymore.
It just wouldn't make any sense, except that, hey, I'm done. I'm tired of college basketball. I want to go call myself a pro and go play pro ball.
And you have a lot of, as far as school goes, you have tutors that will help you a lot with what you're doing if you're an athlete like that.
Brian, they're not in school anymore.
I love Brian.
If you're even in school at all.
Come on, Brian. These guys aren't in school. Got tutors for what? To teach him how to make a hook shot?
Tutors for what?
Come on, Brian. A tutor
Tutors for what?
For a guy making $8 million to play college basketball?
For what? Keep the riff up, Matt, and I'm going to scream tutors for what on you, and we can cut it out later. Ready? Do it again, Bri. Ask it again. Let's do it all over again. We're going to do this for a bit.
Jesus. Come
Go
on,
ahead, Bri. Do it, Bri.
I mean, if he doesn't want to do schoolwork, which I doubt he has to do anyway, I mean, it's not, and he's making all this money. Why would he do anything else?
2 tutors. He could have 2 tutors.
Tutors
One
for what?
Free subject.
Tutors
Maybe
for
he
what?
can hire a John tutor.
Tutors for what?
And might as well hire somebody to do schoolwork for him. If he's even enrolled in class.
So we have that conversation. Matt, when's the last time you heard of a guy flunking out of school?
It's probably been 6 or 8 years at least.
Hey, Matt, flunking a drug test. When's the last time you heard of a guy positive on a drug test? Let me help you. How about never?
Yeah, been a long, long time.
How about never?
Unless it's somebody that the coaches want to get rid of.
Yeah. Now, if it's a dum-dum on your team and you want to get rid of them.
Like Tyrann Matthews, probably the last player I remember getting truly busted for a drug test that got kicked off a team. And that's probably been 15 years.
Tyrann Matthew. Wow. Is that the Honey Badger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the last Tennessee player to get kicked off for that?
Man, it's been forever, Bri.
That you heard of.
Ever. And they
I know that's sad.
They used to throw guys off a team for smoking pot. For smoking pot.
Now it's vaping.
You like Bri how he won't leave it alone, Matt? Provy.
Yeah.
Matt, is Bri gonna leave it alone, Matt?
I would like to think our athletes aren't vaping. That doesn't seem very helpful to a college athlete.
Well, look, I mean, people chew tobacco, people vape.
Yeah.
These kids still chew tobacco.
Maybe somebody will pull a vape out in the middle of Diamond one day out there. Anything else?
Why not? Or like, what would we do, right?
Have a really bad pitch go against you, call your timeout.
Yeah, call your timeout. Or how about this one, Matt? Quarterback makes an incredible run, like 80 yards. He goes over, instead of reaching for the oxygen, he just pulls his vape pen out.
Gets his vape out.
Takes him a hit. I used to love the old and then we'll go to the phones. I used to love the old NFL films that would go inside the locker room. And there's Len Dawson sitting over there, the late, great Len Dawson, who we had on a show one time. Came into town for something. But Len Dawson sitting over there on a folding chair in the middle of some Spartan locker room, not like they have today, but Spartan accommodations. And he's got a beer, open beer, and a cig. And his coach is over there, Hank Stram's over there talking, and he's got himself a smoke and a brewski. Dos Equis 2026. Cervezas Mexicanas go for Dos. So we'll go to the phones. Somebody's saying here, 640 pothole. He says, I remember when Barry Switzer's entire staff used to light up on the sidelines. There was so much smoking going on in our culture back then. I was talking to Laura about that the other night. When we were kids, like in the 70s growing up, everything smelled like smoke. Your whole house smelled like smoke. Every restaurant you went in smelled like smoke. Every car you would sit in, all these parents were, it was like being around a bunch of Kentucky fans, Matt. What do you make of the way, Matt, Dan Dockage is on there just absolutely skull-dunking on these Kentucky fans for how much their program has slipped? And can you believe how much their program slipped, Matt?
I am, but not with Pope because he wasn't a good hire to begin with. They knew what they were getting with him. They brought a trophy out with his teammates and pretended that it was going to work out. So, but no, it's a level playing field. We've talked about it. Like Kentucky taking a huge drop off, and losing Calipari right at the beginning of all this is going to prove to be a really bad move for Kentucky. Even though he was not what he once was, they really kind of needed him to kind of navigate through this uncertainty period with NIL in the portal because he was really, really good at it.
Wow.
I mean, Mark Pope can't recruit anybody.
No, he can't.
He can't even beat out BYU for players.
No. The Freeman kid went from Mark Pope right to St. John's.
No.
Yeah, right to St. John's.
Did you see the fake tweet that somebody had a fake thing from Trilly Donovan that they were getting like the top two portal guys? Like that shooter from Iowa State and somebody else.
And did they go
Trilly
for it?
Come out and say it was a fake.
The poor Kentucky fans, man. Like literally, if you put what they have right now and you put what we have on paper, negative, cover your ears, Vols would beat them by 35. Twice. Right now.
If they come in here and win again next year, there ought to be an investigation because somebody's throwing the game.
It's pretty next level. But let's go to the phones. They are in. So this thing with Heupel and smoking. Did Heupel quit smoking, Matt? Do you know that? Do we know that? People keep mentioning this.
I didn't know he ever smoked.
Because Michael Moat said after he allegedly quit smoking, he quit coughing at the press conferences. He didn't smoke. There's no way that guy smoked. That can't be true.
Well, he probably needed to last year.
Oh, my gosh. Some of the stuff his quarterbacks have done, I mean, even though they're so good on offense.
His defense.
And his defense. Oh, God.
They're burning two. I mean, of course, you could only get through one with how quickly teams went up and down the field.
Talk about needing a vape. You need like an IV vape for how quickly they were scoring, Matt, to get it in your system.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the phones. We'll get our next call in at 865-200.
A tutor, Brian? A tutor? Really? Maybe Nate Ament's got a really good tutor over there.
Tutor for what? Tutor for what? Tutor for what? Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, Tony, Jake from Memphis. How you doing?
Jakey boy in Memphis. Welcome in, brother.
Growing up as a 90s kid, it was a form of punishment to, driving in the car with your parents smoking.
Oh, was it? So they smoked even in the 90s? They were smoking in the 90s?
Oh, yeah. instead of spanking you, they just lock the windows so you can't roll down the window.
Nice.
It was awful.
Nice.
Tony, I'm probably as equally as excited about the draft and the series and the game starting tonight. You know, being a Titans fan, I am curious. I know you could probably care less who the Titans draft.
No, I very much care.
With?
They're the state's team.
The state's team, yeah. Like Adam Silver thinks the Memphis Grizzlies should be the state's team.
What do you make of that as somebody that lives in Memphis? That people like LeBron James are coming out and saying, move the team to Nashville. And now they're talking about playing some games in Nashville. What are you to make of that?
I think it's a joke. I mean, Adam Silver thinks the Grizzlies should play a few games in Nashville each year.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about the Preds come to Memphis and play a few games each year? How about the Titans go to the Liberty Bowl and play a few games?
Well, you know what?
Does he think
LeBron James?
Does he think
LeBron James ripped Memphis? He basically said Memphis is a cesspool. We don't want to go there. It's because somebody suggested that he go there, and he said, "I'm not going to go live there." But I'm not living.
Does he think that the Cavs should play games in Cincinnati and the Sixers should play in Pittsburgh a couple times a year? He's not saying that, is he?
I think the weight of LeBron's words matter less and less as the days go on.
Go.
But that's just me personally. Tony, I have my thoughts. I'm curious, who do you think the Titans should go at number 4?
If I'm the Titanics, I'm to me, they have so many needs, right?
Well, let me put it this way: who would they draft that would concern you the most as an opposing?
If I'm them, I'm taking the Styles kid from Ohio State if he's there. I need a playmaker on defense. I need somebody that can rush a passer. I think this kid could do a little bit of everything from linebacker. I think he would really help them. The thing that would be very interesting for the Titans is what happens if the Cardinals pass on Jeremiah Love, because everybody thinks they're going to take him. And yesterday, Watson Brown was on here popping immaculate for him. He said, Tony, we haven't seen a guy like this enter the sport in a long, long time. The running back from Notre Dame. In fact, Notre Dame might have had the 2 best backs in college football last year. And I don't know how they managed to miss the playoffs with that team. That's quite an accomplishment by them. What do you do at that point? Are you going to go David Bailey, who I know is another edge rusher they're involved with? Do you go Tyson? What are you doing? Are you going Jeremiah Love?
Well, I think they should go defense, but I'm not going to be surprised, and honestly, I won't be disappointed if they go Love. I mean, it's going to be really hard to pass on Love, and that'd be a really great, really solid 1-2 punch at quarterback and running back for years to come. And yes. I'm thinking that they're thinking of filling out that stadium that's going to be there next year, and that's a good dynamic duo to sell.
Well, I mean, you're right. Chicks dig the long ball. The fact that when you start looking at taking a running back that high in the draft tells you what kind of a special athlete that guy is. Like in the modern era, I guess the last 15 or so years, Saquon Barkley, way at the top of the draft. Of course, the Giants couldn't get it out of him because they're such a horrendous organization, but the Eagles are getting it out of him. Or at least they did for a year and to a Super Bowl. I guess that counts. But, yeah, the Titans have so many needs. Again, hard to beat somebody that can impact an NFL game from the edge. And if you think Bailey's the guy, look, I think that the Styles guy is a hell of a player, man.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'd hate to, a year or two from now be like the Preds are with Porter Martone.
You got it.
Wishing they had gone with Love.
Right, that's right.
But well, I'm excited to see what happens. Hey, question for Matt, real quick, before I head out. If we lose this series this week, is it pretty black and white that, like, if we lose the series to Bama this week, we're not going to make the tournament? Because just looking at the schedule ahead, it looks pretty unlikely. If you can't get 2 of 3 this week, it ain't gonna happen.
Well, I mean, you definitely can't get swept. You've got to win 6 league games over your last 4 series. That's kind of where they're at. So any combination of 6, which that means you have to win at least 2 series. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, even though mathematically you'd be there, yeah, I think you probably need to win 2 this weekend to feel good, because you do have a pretty daunting stretch coming up. You might have the hardest remaining schedule in the league. But 6 wins over your final 4 series, which doesn't seem like a really tough ask, but this team's better than their record. They just didn't close out some games. But yeah, they definitely can't get swept, which is why that Sunday game versus Ole Miss was big. But at some point, you do have to start winning series, and this is about as good an opportunity as they have remaining.
I was on the bandwagon for sitting Brown at least a game, if not honestly the series. Does his performance Tuesday night, Matt, kind of? I mean, do you start him? Do you sit him? What do you do with Brown? Because I think not having Abernathy right now in the lineup and Brown in instead of him is not a benefit to us.
Yeah, it's funny because I thought Brown kind of needed a reset and a day off, and then he goes out and gets 2 hits, hits a home run, goes the other way twice. Funny how the game works like that. I think you just keep him in there, and then Abernathy gives you some versatility. You can play him at second, you can play him in center, you can pinch run for him, late game replay. I don't know. We'll see how Brown does this weekend. But it was very encouraging Tuesday night for him to do that. Because I like you, I thought he probably needed a reset. Him and Marin both hit home runs after hitless weekends. So hopefully it can carry over, because they certainly need his bat, and he's been well below average in league play.
Hey, Matt, you pointed out LeBron, who's just a Rolls-Royce player. He looks apart in the field. He's kind of like Brown. He's got this high tag on him as an elite, maybe pro player. But boy, he's really struggling against SEC pitching as well.
Yeah, and it's let it affect his defense like Brown. He had a couple of key errors that directly cost them games here in league play. But yeah, he's a guy that's just been a front runner for National Player of the Year going into league play, and then he just really falls off. And I mean, uber talented as you see. And unfortunately, we'll probably see it this weekend. But yeah, a lot of guys are like that, and LeBron, I think that the draft stuff is probably getting to him a little bit.
The thing Berkey and I talk about with these guys, and we've seen it here with some guys that are now doing very well, even in Major League Baseball, is they go through stretches and the season's so condensed and the sample size is just so compact that you're either doing it or you're not. And that is the sport of baseball. It's kind of like golf. You're either feeling it off the tee, or you're feeling it with your irons or your short game or whatever goes on you in that sport, or you're not. And it's just a skill sport, and it's just so compact. And you can see the Brown kid fighting himself to the point now where he couldn't even catch a ball in the outfield last week. And he took a couple awful lines on balls. But, Jakey, you're my man. Yeah.
Can we just win a series at home, guys?
Yeah, what a concept. Thank you, Jake.
I mean, yeah, see you guys.
Thank you. They're calling him midweek Manny now. I've seen that in a couple places for poor Manny Marin, who's a nice player. But 865-200-5402. Will 1 or 2 Vols be drafted tonight? Both guys are transfers. Both guys played a year here, essentially. That's what we're doing now. Indiana's going to have their first number 1 pick tonight. Try this on for size, since 1994. Now, Brian, is that any good? And they're going to have a couple in that draft tonight and then a couple next year. And that's the thing. Miami, if you go on the blog today, there's some interesting stuff there, because the number of firsts that the Georgias, the Alabamas, and the LSU are producing is diminishing. This is not This is not accidental. If you're going to win at the very top of the thing, you've got to have high-level first-round picks that come out on the other end. It's got to happen. And if the Vols want to win and be of consequence in that sport, like get back up there again, they've got to start producing first-round picks. That's the part of the deal. We could say, well, it doesn't make any sense. Or if you look at that blog today and what the kind of the research I did, just looking at it, all of a sudden, Miami was producing all these guys in the early 2000s when they mattered, and then they went dormant. And now the last couple of years, all of a sudden, a couple guys, and then maybe 3 tonight, and then not even to mention Ohio State. That Ohio State-Indiana game last year, it's a miracle that Indiana worked them like they did. It's a miracle. That Ohio State team's going to have like 5 first-rounders tonight. And then they've got the number 1 receiver. They're going to have one of the top picks in the draft next year. That kid that's been sitting there. That kid that was 17 the night he worked us. We'll come back on the other side. The thing that's crazy about tonight is the kid starting for Tennessee's a transfer. The 2 first-round picks that are going in the draft tonight are transfers. It's like, the Vols for a moment. You got VFMs, VFLs. Hey, what were you? Were you a VFM or a VFL? I don't know. Let me do a quick legal and we'll keep a conversation going.
Listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
865-200-5402. Check us out over at tclub.team. The Czar, a.k.a. Byron Williams, wrote a great piece on what he would do to fix the NBA. Brian, one of the things he would do is they play a lot less games. I agree with that, man. NBA and NHL need to play about 50 games so everybody plays every night. End of discussion. Yeah.
And you don't have back-to-backs. You don't have one team coming on a back-to-back and another team versus another team who's been sitting for 3 days. And you don't have that discrepancy where you could have games on every night of the week, but you could spread your schedule out more.
Hey, Matt, imagine Ohio State having all that talent on their football team and not cutting the nets down again. Imagine how good that Indiana team is to take them like that and beat them. Heads up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really, impressive, just a great coaching job. The greatest coaching turnaround probably in the history of college sports for a short time.
What do you make, Matt, seriously, of Alabama giving that guy the bank down there? What are we to make of that? What do you make of that?
It's all monopoly money, and I'm sure the buyouts are. I assume the buyouts probably don't change a ton. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But nothing that college sports is doing right now does really.
Kalen DeBoer, how do I put this for the Bama fan? Nobody's afraid of you anymore. As in nobody. As in Vanderbilt.
If they weren't in the playoffs, he is probably Michigan's head coach.
Nobody's afraid of them anymore. Are you afraid of them, Matt, when you look on your schedule this year?
Well, no.
No.
No, not at all.
No. So strange in this era. All these teams that were paying those players all those years, all that money, now can't compete in the NIL era. Them. North Carolina.
Clemson.
Clemson's a great... Clemson on the blog today, we unpacked them. Brian, they had all from... And I went back to 2020 on. 80% of their first-round draft picks, 80% of them happened between 20 and 23. And since then, gradually, right off the table. And it's
Tyler and Spartansburg need to step up.
Cause and effect,
needs to step up.
Cause and effect. Beers and TD says that Bama fans thought it was an AI joke when it first hit the internet yesterday. I thought it was a joke too. And to Matt's point, I don't know what it does on the back end with the buyout money and what the real commitment to the guy is, or if we're just doing optics. But why would you do optics with that guy? That guy does not fit there. First of all, he looks half asleep. Secondly, his teams play listless football, and they blow. I no get it. And look, Dabo Swinney used to buy you a couple $100,000 house. This is what they used to do, okay? They used to go buy you a house and get you a no-show job, just like at Kentucky. You know how, and I wrote this on Twitter today, and they're attacking me, their fans on Twitter, but Crazy Dan Dockich dunks on them daily, and I had to jump in there. I couldn't help myself. Buying a kid a horse, a thoroughbred, at Keeneland is so passé. It's so passé now. So passé. So passé.
What's one of these players going to do with a horse anyway?
Thoroughbred for what? Thoroughbred for what?
They have tutors that raise it.
Thoroughbred for what? Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on our Thursday edition.
How are my French compatriots doing today?
There he is. W. Lynn, welcome in, brother.
Tony, we're missing the point here on really what's big this weekend.
The man.
This is Beat Bama weekend.
The legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
We are playing Alabama in football. I'm sorry. I'm thinking it's like a football game. We're playing them in baseball and softball. In softball, they're number 2 in the nation. And the only day we overlap is the baseball closes out the Bama series at 1 p.m. on Saturday. The softball team starts their series at 4 p.m. on Saturday.
That's a different twist. The softball series might not start until the baseball series is completely over with.
And Danny White, what he should have done is taken the old intramural fields in Fiji Island and had a watch party, pep rally, shuttle the students to both stadiums, have them put their IDs in a lanyard around their neck, and any empty seat by the end of the second inning, the students can go for it.
W. Lynn, you're getting me right now, fired up, focused, and prepared. I say the students. Brian, do they have a cattle chute over in the Lady Vol Stadium, which Brian's been going? Brian's been to a few games this year. He's in the habit right now of going. Talk to me, Brian. Do they have a cattle chute?
I didn't really notice a great deal of students there. They only go out to. There's only 7 main sections.
Yep.
So they haven't added any seats. They do have some standing room in the outfield.
All right, Briney boy, riddle me
by both foul poles, but I don't notice a tremendous student presence.
Briney boy, riddle me this: 6 games with Bama in softball, 6 games with the baseball team. How many wins for Team Tennessee, Brian, total?
I'm going to be a sheep and say 4.
W. Lynn, what you say?
I'll be happy with 4 and 2 out of that whole thing.
W. Lynn, hang right there. Y'all are thinking like losers. Let me bring Amanda Rich in now. My Knoxville Smokies, who are back home right now through the weekend at the beautiful ballpark downtown. Absolutely gorgioso. Amanda, you fire me up, you focus me, and you prepare me when you come on here. So prepare us for this great weekend of Smokies baseball. What we got cooking?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got perfect baseball weather out there today for our Thirsty Thursday. So half-off drink specials, perfect weather for that. Nothing goes better than beer and baseball with that sunshine. And then we also do have our college tickets out there. So any valid student ID at the box office will get you a $10 ticket tonight.
Do you jam them all together? Do you jam them together in one section, or can they sit anywhere?
They can sit anywhere, so they will be able to choose their own seat upon arrival at the box office.
That's unbelievable. Amanda, unbelievable.
Heck yeah. Hey, we want to get those college students out here and involved with what they love the most, beer. So come out on Thursday.
So what do we charge for a student ticket?
$10.
God, that's a great deal.
$10 for your ticket and then half off drinks all night long. You can't beat it.
Amanda, you're firing me up, focus me, and preparing me. What other promotions do we have going on the weekend?
Yeah, we've got our fireworks coming back this weekend. So, we'll finish each game with a bang up in the sky. But Saturday, we're really excited for. It's going to be Dancing with the Smokies night. And we will be blessed by the presence of special guest Elaine Hendricks from Dancing with the Stars herself.
Cool.
Plus, she'll be out here with animals up for adoption. It's really just going to be a great night full of Smokies and dancing.
Oh, our little animals. What kind of? Will we have like dogs and cats in the?
You got it. Yes, you can adopt your forever friend and take them home with you from the ballpark.
Aw, what's the lady's name from Dancing with the Stars again?
Elaine Hendricks.
Hang on a second here. W. Lynn, are you familiar with Elaine Hendricks?
No, Tony, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Would you like to be?
Why?
Because Craig Jenkins could make that love connection. Hang right there, W. Lynn. Amanda, have you ever had a radio appearance like that before, where I did a little sidetrack with and got silly?
I haven't. This would be a first for me.
Sorry. Okay, so we got the. Hey, let me say this about the Smokies fireworks. Those of you that are thinking about going. The other night we were playing down Side Hustle, which is a venue in the Old City. It's outside. And it was a beautiful, just a beautiful, beautiful night. It was 2 weeks ago on Saturday. And they started blowing off their fireworks. And we thought, Amanda, we'll play through it because it's just going to be a song. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And your fireworks just went, and they went, and they went like 3 songs. So finally we had to amp it up and play some heavy rock to kind of match the vibe. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And y'all give people their money's worth with those fireworks, Amanda.
Hey, that's the goal. We try to keep them here as long as possible, and what better way to finish off a great baseball game than with a decent fireworks show?
So we're doing we got the Thirsty Thursday, we got the fireworks display. Is that Friday or Saturday?
That'll be Saturday.
All right, and then Friday, what's our theme?
Friday is just going to be kind of a standard Smokies baseball game, so come in and see us and get ready to kick off the weekend.
And then Sunday, what we have cooking?
Sunday, we're getting spooky. It is halfway to Halloween.
Cool.
So we will have all sorts of characters roaming around. We will have concourse trick-or-treating, face painting, balloon twisting. We'll have a spooky train where you can take a ride on the train. We're really just going to redecorate the ballpark as we're 6 months out from Halloween. So hopefully you know what you're going to be already.
Amanda, I know every Halloween what I am, and all I've got to do is take my brows and my bald head and just kind of light them up, backlight them or front light them, if you will. I could come down there, put the eyebrows, as the kids used to say, on fleek, and scare everybody. Would you be up for that?
Oh, 100%. The more the merrier.
Amanda,
or the more they're scarier, I should say.
Oh, no question. Amanda, I appreciate you. Tell the living listener how they can get involved, and I thank you.
Yeah, you can get tickets at smokiesbaseball.com and follow along on all of our social media channels. We'll have all of our guides and step-by-step kind of maps for halfway to Halloween, Dancing with the Smokies, meeting Elaine Hendricks, and just getting involved this weekend.
Brian Hartman has looked up Elaine Hendricks, and he would like to meet her, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Great Amanda Rich, one more time with my Knoxville Smokies. W. Lynn, you would, if you met that Hendricks lady, you'd have some fireworks, my brah.
Okay, it sounds like Brian's looked her up, and she's pretty smoking, I guess.
Brian?
I actually have not looked her up and didn't even think about looking her up.
Matt Diskin, do you believe that Brian hasn't looked the lady up? I want Matt to know if he believes that.
He hasn't yet, no. Not enough time. Next break.
Amanda Rich, they're saying, has chops. I agree with that. Amanda knows how to roll with the punches to get to what's real.
And once again, is Danny White doing anything to get people to go to the softball and baseball game? Are we having fireworks?
Well, hey, Jude W. Lynn, who's a new great caller on here, who's now now on YouTube. When you suggested what the students said, women's softball to the student body is completely inaccessible. That's why they don't have a great student involvement. That was his.
Yeah, it's hard. Line. There's no walkway that you can go from campus. It's kind of cut off. The area is cut off.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, and there's hardly any parking over there. They have put bleachers in the outfield, but I think that's just general admission.
Sad song.
Both stadiums could utilize the outfield more for students. Jude had an idea I thought about years ago. Put the students over the right field all the way to the scoreboard, over the bullpen. And, softball could do that in those outfields. They built the softball stadium too small to start with.
Yep.
And they would have to have shuttles to get any kind of access over there. But that's what Danny White ought to be working on. Stuff like that, getting the students to these events.
They're actually ground broke on a new facility for a clubhouse over there for the softball team. So you'd think that something might be in the works. At least they're trying to at least do some upgrades.
You know what I say to Jude after he called the other day, W. Lynn? I say, Jody. He was an incredible caller, W. Lynn, out of nowhere. The kind of call
I want him calling year round.
Yeah, he's the 11th man.
Yeah, I want him to be giving me student reports where their seats are, who's in front of them. I would go over there with a tape measure if I was a student and measure from the baseline of the basketball court to the first seat of the student section. I bet it's the length of a 3-point line.
Hey, Jude, I'll tell you this, too. Write me something for the blog because Danny White reads it every day. And you should write exactly what you want for the students, Jude. This could be a way, because you're never going to get him on the phone. He's not going to communicate with you. He's
oh no.
No, am I lying, W. Lynn? Am I lying about that? W. Lynn?
He doesn't care about anybody. He won't even talk to our head coaches.
Now, W. Lynn, I will say this, Jude. You need to write something where you want the students to be, because Matt Dixon is right. They need to get some pop back in that stadium.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. The president and also Don Day Plowman need to put some pressure on him, as somebody called yesterday and said, because that thing slipped in there. That thing has slipped. The atmosphere of W. Lynn, it's not the same as it was on the porch when we were out there all those years ago, George Harrison.
No, it's not. And like we talked about, the students light the fire in every sport.
Yep.
And Dante Plowman and Randy Boyd, I know they realize that's your future alumni that you're going to be asking money for.
Jude, the email, you do need to email that, Jude. And the email is commonfan@gmail.com. commonfan@gmail.com. Hey, Jude.
What do you think, Tony, about after the second inning you can go into an empty seat? Tell the ushers, let them go.
Well, I tell you, they were letting kids move around earlier in the year, and they've been told not to do that, if that means anything to you, according to the information I have.
I'm sure Earl and Judy Brown wouldn't mind at all if some students were around them in those empty seats.
Boy, those seats are really empty down there. It's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah, and right behind home plate, it's a big door and a wall, and it's like a lot of. And you go into that air-conditioned place where half the people apparently are.
W. Lynn, you're a man of the people. I've often thought
beat Bama this weekend.
Oh, W. Lynn, thank you. Back to the phones we go. Because I told you we'd keep the calls coming. That was my pledge to you. Callers coming first, as they have all year long. In this, the geophysical year of the caller, 2026.
A word?
Year of our Lord. Go ahead, Brian.
About Bama's softball team. They have Tennessee and Alabama have the two best pitching staffs in the country in terms of team ERA.
Jude the Dude, Matt tells me, before we get to unpack the softball program, Matt, I want Matt to tell me if he believes this is true. Jude the Dude saying over here, students get wristbands. You're not allowed to walk the concourse without the Gestapo, and you got to tell them where you're going. Even if you're just going to get a hot dog, they ask you where you're going when they start walking the concourse. Matt, do you believe that?
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with him.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
So stupid.
How about my friend who's in the flight industry telling me, Tony, I was listening to the guy talk about the infant having to buy a seat for an infant at a baseball game. And he says to me, do you realize that you can fly for free with an infant up till 2 years of age? That's the rule in the airline biz. But Tennessee's nickel and diming this guy that's been a season ticket holder for 7 years for an infant. A standing room only ticket for a human being that can't stand up, Matt Dixon. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, Tennessee's not the only ones. I'm not a huge fan of that. You certainly shouldn't pay full price for a ticket or anything. I think the infant should be able to get in for free anyway. But I mean, Tennessee's not the only school or sports teams that do stuff like that. But you shouldn't have to pay any kind of for a regular ticket, even if it's standing room only for an infant. That's just silly and not a way to bring fans to your ballpark. You've got to make it accessible and easy for fans to do it, because you are charging so much more now that at some point, and I think a lot of people are even already here, where it's just not worth it to do it because the fan experience is not very good anyway.
Standing babies only is telling me to preach it out loud.
If they can't walk, they shouldn't have to have their own ticket.
Here's a problem, Bri, with the whole thing. Here's a problem with the whole thing. It doesn't make any sense. And what has happened to the modern ticket buyer in modern sport? Year after year, it's happened so quickly to all of us that you don't even realize what it used to be like when they valued you. Like, that train is so far off the tracks. When you saw that thing about that fella that was in his 80s, who lived in Fountain City, and they took that man's tickets and treated him literally, and it's not just here. It's in the business of college sport. And again, I hate to say this into my microphone. This is painful for me to say. Do you know how much money Duke basketball, how much revenue they could generate off their student section if they made those tickets on that side available to the general public? But I'll give Duke a lot of credit. One thing they've understood and understand in the modern era, where it's all about money, Danny White doesn't never understand this, but not everything that counts in life can be counted. In his world, everything's on that ledger sheet. And in my world, I need an in-tune guitar and a sunny day. And that's why he and I are never going to see it the same way. But I'll tell you this right now. If I were the AD, I would carve out and figure out a way to carve out a student section where those kids could be heard and could be a catalyst for whipping that ballpark into a frenzy. And if that meant taking a few less dollars, but having a winning atmosphere in my building, and one where, and this is where you got to get the president of the university and the chancellor of the university involved in this. Listen, the currency of social media today, it's immense. Now, in coming days and weeks, you're going to start seeing us cutting up portions of the show and booming it out. That's how you grow. Tennessee had something with the Legends of Lindsay. And if they would have leaned into it, like they should have leaned into it, the way Tony dove into them that one night after beating Liberty, went head over heels into the stands. Tony understood that. He understood. Tony was pissed at what they did to that student section. But he couldn't argue. You know why? Because he's making $2 or $3 million. And somebody got to pay the freight for that. Here's the thing, though.
Well,
when you take those kids, like Matt said, and you put them up there and they have to stand up and you treat them like absolute garbage.
They're treating them like they're kindergartners. And stop treating them like they're kindergartners, asking them where the hell they're going. And I'm surprised any students go with those conditions.
And here's the other thing. You're making money, sure. Matt, how much money could Duke make if they took those tickets away from those Duke students and sold those tickets down low in that arena?
Oh, they could. Oh, yeah, they could probably make another couple $1 million.
But would it be worth it, Matt? At the end of the day,
No,
would it be worth it?
It's not worth it at all.
Would a guy like Danny White ever understand that, Matt?
Doesn't seem like it, which is odd because I believe his dad was the AD at Duke for a long time. Not that his dad had anything to do with the student section thing, but I mean, to totally neuter your park when by all accounts, and you saw on broadcasting, people like Kyle Peterson would talk about it. It was the most hostile place to play for about 2 or 3 years. And obviously the team had a big part in that. But the fans fed off that, and the players fed off the fan. Like, it was just such a perfect marriage there coming out of COVID with all that built-up energy and kind of some frustrations. And it was just such a special and magical time over there. You got to find a way to get something similar to that because today, I mean, it's basically a minor league ballpark now with all the – I mean, the stadium's awesome and it's great. There's a lot of new amenities, but
it's beautiful.
But totally taking your students out of the game is just so silly.
The essence of college sports is that they're college sports. I've long maintained in Thompson Bowling Arena that they should put those students right in the middle of the floor and let that be a college atmosphere in there. But they'll never do it. That was when I ran for school president. In 1988 and 1989 as Bo on the anti-bourgeoisie ticket. Look it up, kids. One year, it was a joke candidacy, and I was going against these people that are now in, politics in both parties in the state and have risen to, really high levels in their careers. And I was making a mockery of the whole thing, and I almost won. They called me, somebody from the Daily Beacon called me the night before and said, "You might win, man." And I was thinking about, how am I going to get out of doing that? The last thing I want to be a student body president and hang out with those nerds. No offense. Not trying to crack on anybody. But let's go to the phones and get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony and Zach. I was a nerd. I was in the SGA
there you go.
Student Senate.
There you go. Could you see a guy like me having fun with that?
Honestly, I would have loved it because those Senate things we used to have were just abysmal.
Like pulling your brain out of your head being around those people.
It's awful, yeah. But I love your plan, like, hey, Jude.
Yep.
Hey, Jude. So get them out of that bullpen. Hey, Jude, get the students in. UNW Lynn can get them behind the plate.
We need to write a song for you, Judy. Now, that needs work. But, hey, Jude, don't feel so sad. Take the ballpark and make it better. Remember, Jude, don't let Danny White let him under your skin, and then you'll begin to make it better. And that's what you got to do, Jude.
So let him out of that bullpen. Hey, Jude, get him in behind the plate.
Grumpy asked us the following, Devil's Advocate, how is Tennessee supposed to pay for these rosters without money coming in? Grumpy, that's not how you pay for rosters, buddy. I don't know how to tell you that. You don't pay for rosters with ticket money.
Yep. That ticket money is just chump change.
Yep. Chump change.
And I'm totally with you. I just want to take 1 minute. Congrats on your Flyers. I know nobody likes to hear hockey, but I said that y'all were probably going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'm starting to believe.
It's very possible. I mean, you're going to be faced probably a Hurricanes team that's going to be over-rested.
Yep.
if my Lightning can stop fighting and playing hockey, they're more
crazy?
interested in fighting.
The Canadians are pulling you guys into their mess with their great young team. And that Caulfield guy, when they get those guys on the power play, those young players they have, the Suzukis and the Caulfields, man, they can really bring it.
Did you see my boy Cole Cox Slaslovsky the other night?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
We should do like a 15-minute hockey.
Oh yeah.
As the playoffs progress, because I know you guys and I predicted it. Tony, with Ament, let me just ask you this: as far as like Ament and Harris, how have they not made their decisions yet? But the guys from Florida have already made quick decisions and are all back. Not to sound like Nega Dave, but I am a little irritated at this.
What?
How can we?
They're not on your timeline. That's why.
Well, I know, but
well, I mean, they're not. They don't care about Zach and E-Town or Tony.
I know
Basilio,
they don't care about me.
Everybody's got to make their own decision, and you can't force them. And the Kentucky kids are not as high of prospects as Nate Ament. I mean, the Florida kids. Sorry, Kentucky.
Okay.
Sorry, Kentucky. Freudian slip on my part. You guys aren't in the conversation. That came from, I don't know, 20 years ago, thinking Kentucky and basketball. I'm sorry. I've got to reprogram myself, Kentucky fan, on how to think. My bad. Sorry, Matt Jones. Okay, so here's the thing. The Duke Harris guy is somebody that, may just want to start his pro career. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say for him. Then you've got Nate Ament thought he was a surefire, high lottery guy coming into the year. And look, I'm not going to tell NBA teams what to do, what not to do. But if I was sitting there with the 8th pick in that draft, I would take him in a heartbeat. I'm so high on him. I think he's going to be a great player at that level. But the fact that people are saying that he's going to school, still. The fact that he hasn't announced anything, and I'm starting to hear a lot of smoke about it, I'm starting to think that it could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but last week, people were asking me, what are the chances that 6 weeks ago, people were saying, what about Nate Ament come back? I said 0% chance of that happening with most people. Now there are people whispering in the athletic department, you know what? This thing could happen. And one of the pieces here is that when that Tyler Tanner guy stayed where he's at, and all of a sudden Tennessee has a bag to give this guy. They got $7 million to give this guy. That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah. Well, you sold it. I mean, one more year, be a he. I mean, come on. Like, think about when Peyton Manning came back and what a celebration that was. And he did it. I mean, I know his family was wealthy, but he did it for ostensibly no money. But and that's a moment that will be forever remembered by the living fan, as we say. If Ament comes back and he's going to get $6 million to come back and be a star and not have to get his butt busted yet.
Yes, and if you take a chance and go into that draft and you're Nate Ament, you could be getting bad counsel and you could end up in the bus leagues, man. You really could.
Or you could get
in 2 years.
You could get Dalton Connect. You could get Dalton connected.
Or Connect in a situation where you're buried for somebody's vanity project. And the Houston Rockets are going to figure out a way to lose to LeBron James's vanity project minus 2 of their better players.
It's a crazy world, but I love the show. Love the hockey. Love the students for the Common Fan.
Oh, come on. Students for Common Fan 2026. Get out the vote. Mobilize the vote. Give sheep the vote, as they say in the trade. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Hey, it's Alex Madera, utility with your Knoxville Smokies. The stadium is transformed into Knox Vegas, and it's Thirsty Thursday. Half off draft beers. Hope to see you tonight at the ballpark.
And with the 5th pick tonight in the draft, or the 4th pick in the draft, your Tennessee Titans draft new ownership. That's what Kyle said he wants to hear this evening. Brian, you buying, selling, or trading? Darren wants to know, you buying, selling, or trading Ty Simpson in the NFL draft as a mid-first rounder, like some are saying, or even a late first rounder in the 20s, Brian? Buying, selling, or trading? Ty Simpson, Brian, that league. What are you doing? Brian, are you there? What happened to Brian Matt? God, Basilio, you got to be nimble. You got to stay on your feet. Brian, you buying, selling, or trading Ty Simpson in the draft? What are we doing? First round pick.
I sell that. I don't think that's the first round. No.
Maybe
Dixon, second round.
Matt
maybe
Dixon,
third.
Matt Dixon or you? I mean, the Vols were flirting with a guy in the offseason who literally now could go in the first round. That's the dearth of quarterbacks that are out there. And look, I just never saw that with Ty Simpson. Matt, what do you think? Does he make it in that league?
I think he's got an 8 or 12-year career as a backup. Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think he's one of those really smart. Knows the position well.
Coach's son.
Just isn't quite as accurate as you need to be. I mean, he wasn't that in college. Accuracy was a little bit of an issue. Not that not that he didn't throw the ball where it's catchable, but you got to lead receivers and some things like that. But no, I think he sticks around. I mean, I don't think he's a first round pick or anything, but I think he'll have a long NFL career as a backup, which heck, that might be the best career you could have in that league.
Well, that's the best career you could have anywhere. That's the best kind of career you could have anywhere.
Back to the phones we go. Yeah, that might be the best job in all of sports.
Yeah, that's the best job anywhere.
Carry that clipboard
worldwide,
make like $7 or $8 million a year. Look at all the money that a guy like Josh Dobbs has made. He's been hit so infrequently. By the way, we're live at Calhoun's tomorrow. And tomorrow I might get my boy Maury Hanks in here to talk about the decision that Ament has. I'm going to put Maury on the case, put his ear to the ground in terms of what he's hearing from NBA people, because, again, there are no secrets in this stuff. What's that kid thinking about doing? It feels like that's in play. I did not think we would get to the point where that's going to be in play. But when you miss on Tanner and you have a lot of money, there was always that possibility they were going to go to him. And the thing that might really, really impact this now is you missed on him and this Juke Harris guy is giving signals that he might stay in the, all of a sudden you're Tennessee. You got some urgency here in front of you. So
you might have that first $10 million college player.
You're right. Because you have it. Because you have it. And that's what leads to this. People say, when does this end? Well, it ends when you don't have it. Like at Texas Tech. They've had a few guys peel off and, jump out. Why? Because they've told them the gravy train's over here in this sport. 865-200-5402. Brian, this Carlin Pickens this weekend against Alabama, then we go back to the phones. How's she used? Because I want to shout out Bed Store CJ. She's so great in those Bed Store ads. She looks like such a delight, too, to deal with. That Carlin Pickens just seems like such a bright light on that campus.
She'll start one game, and she'll probably be needed in relief in a couple others. Maybe in one other at least.
What's it like, Brian?
Tennessee's got three pretty good starters that all have ERAs under 1.5.
Yeah. What's it like seeing her pitch live, Brian?
It's pretty amazing just to see how she almost looks like it's something that you can't even. She almost looks like she's out of control in a way. It's the way. Just as fast as that ball pops out of
that
her
arm motion
hand into the glove of the catcher.
And those kids are great athletes that can hit that ball. Because I'm going to tell you something. Major league guys, when they get in there against those people, struggle. Have you ever seen Monica Abbott when she's pitched against those kids? They have trouble hitting the ball.
I haven't, but I can imagine it's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. And this gal's got it all. Here's the thing.
If she's on, they're not hitting. They're not touching her.
Here's the thing about it. She's got God-given talent, like me. It's very difficult to deal with that. Me, Eddie Van Halen, genius people. She's very good-looking, like me, Eddie Van Halen. You know what I mean? She's an artist. She's an artist out there, like me and Eddie Van Halen. It's very difficult. It's hard. It's hard when you have beauty of face and skin in this world. Because so much more is expected of you. Matt, when I'm out walking in the park and playing my guitar and they want me to pull my shirt up and show my abs, you know what I mean? It's difficult.
That's where that dollar came from.
The dollar that was sticking out of the back of my hat.
I guess there's worse places it could have been sticking out of since you're apparently taking your shirt off.
You're not really doing that, though.
Brian, are they just kind of load managing her for the postseason? Is that what it seems like they're doing?
Well, they gave those other two girls more action early on to try to, I think, build some depth and also have her fresh for when it matters the most. And then she also had that injury, the arm strain, that caused her to miss a week or so earlier in the year. So she hasn't really been. I think they're trying to get her a little bit more amped up now and maybe use her a little bit more than they'd been before.
By the way, we'll get Maury on tomorrow, kind of see this thing to its head. Hopefully we get some great news overnight. That would be like, whoa. Because that would be a fun thing and a good thing for one and all. And that would be a great thing for all of us. And I'd be for it, not against it. And let's go back to our phones. At 865-200-5402 is the numero uno dolce. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air. And by the way, shout out to our friends at T3 Vodka for providing Maury. They're distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
What's up, boys? Shout out to the vodka people. Tony B, Matt, Brian, it's Steven, stuck up here in Altoona.
Let's go, Steven, Altoona.
Let's go. I went to the Pirates game last week. Schemes with Dylan.
Cool.
So, touching base, I wanted to talk about a few things. I'll be quick. Softball, I watch every game on the TV. Pickens throws so hard. It's when she comes in relief over somebody, I mean, she is just out there throwing so hard. I think softball is we're going to do it this year. Weekly wants it. Let's go get it.
Oh, they've got a hell of a team together, man. A hell of a team together.
Forget what's that girl's name that left with the money for Texas Tech? She was real good too.
Yeah, Brian.
I think Taylor Pennell, I believe.
Taylor Pennell.
Yeah,
she gonna live. She gonna live to resent that.
She is, but she's swimming in money, I guess. So if that's what they want, that's what they get. So I've been listening I listen every day. I appreciate you guys. Baseball, we give them a hard time. I think we got what it takes. We could we could be a little bit better, but we got to give Elander a break. I think he's doing all right. Softball, we're good. Lady basketball, my mama, she's up in fits about this team. She can't stand the coach. I hate it, but I think she's kind of running into the ground. And then we got all these JUCO players now coming in. Like, what are we doing?
They've gotten some pretty good SEC players. I like this Coulibaly, who they've brought in. She's a nice player. They brought in some pretty nice players.
Well, I'll take your word for it. I've never heard of these girls, but I don't follow lady basketball like I do the other sports as well. So my one question I've been wanting to ask now for a few days. So the question was, would you sell your soul for a football national championship? That's kind of what it's coming down to now in the basketball. Like, would you sell your soul for a championship?
I ain't selling my soul for anything. What are you talking about?
I mean, if you ask people, would you sell your soul for a national football championship?
Well,
Some people would say, yeah. That's what.
No, I ain't
they
selling.
Want that.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay, well, basketball, that's kind of what we're doing. And
no, we're not. We're just doing what everybody else is doing. Why are you selling your soul? We're doing what everybody else is doing. What do you mean?
Maybe I'm putting it the wrong way, but I mean, when
we're just doing what everybody else.
Every single day,
buying a championship.
We're buying yeah. Okay, Matt, do you hate that we're buying a championship, Matt, or trying to?
I mean, I'm not a fan of the way that it goes about, but it's what the sport is now, and it's the only way to compete at the highest level. So I'd rather be all in and doing it this way than hosting NIT games.
What has Kentucky been doing all these years? What has Duke been doing all these years? What has North Carolina and Kansas been doing, and Connecticut all these years? To my friend in Altoona, they've been buying championships, guys, all these years.
Well, and I agree with what he just said. I'm not, I want those 4-year players, that loyalty, but it's just not there anymore. Mm-hmm. So I guess my only thing was we were kind of doubting Barnes a little bit. we can't doubt Barnes anymore. He got rid of all those people, and he upgraded in every single position.
Yep.
So shout out to Rick for doing that.
Thank you, my man. Yeah, but Rick Barnes is not in the business of selling his soul to win a championship. I can tell you that right now. All right, for 1 second here, I want to call something to your attention because my Nashville listeners, my friends in my mid-state, thousands and thousands strong, hear us, read us, the whole thing. We're going to be doing something really special on Wednesday with the program because there's a special ceremony going on Tuesday night. And we sort of briefly mentioned this on the show yesterday, but I want to bring Royce Degree in with us now, who's the Chief Creative Officer, Musicians Hall of Fame, which is something I'm really, 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 really excited about getting a chance to be at on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to get a chance to broadcast live from there because they've got a real gem in Nashville that we want to shine the light on. And I just want to say for the record, I'm not getting paid a dime to do this, but I'm a musician. I love music. I respect music so much. I respect the musicians that make music, that write music, and that play on all these great songs all over the world that they honor in the Musicians Hall of Fame. And Royce, I welcome you in against the backdrop that, man, I'm glad to be coming to your event on Tuesday, and I'm going to be glad to be down there on Wednesday. So welcome in.
Awesome. Thanks, man. We're looking forward to having you down here. That's exciting.
Well, here's the thing. I respect and love so much what you all are doing. Tell me about, and tell the living listener that hasn't heard of the Musicians Hall of Fame about your mission there, Royce.
Oh, yeah. The Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum is the only museum of its kind in the world that honors the musicians behind the soundtracks of our lives, basically. So session musicians, if you're not aware of what they do, they play on, hundreds of thousands of songs, and they very rarely get any credit, but they often are the people who contribute the signature licks, the identifiable intros to songs that are musically driven, the guitar riffs and stuff like that. So a lot of times the session musicians just nobody knows who they are. So Joe and Linda Chambers had the idea to start a museum that honored and acknowledged the people behind the music.
And they've been doing it for many, many, many years. And
doing it well.
This year, you've got a lineup of iconic inductees. Talk about it.
Oh, yeah. We this year are inducting Dolly Parton. Mm-hmm. We got Leland Sklar, Nicky Hopkins. Let's see, Leland is a bass player, for those who don't know who he is.
Leland's a part of what they call the Mellow Mafia out in that whole L.A. sound, played on all the great Jackson Browne, Linda Ronstadt. When Hall & Oates recorded in the 70s out in L.A. in those studios, he played on a bunch of their stuff. He played on Steely Dan stuff. He played on Carly Simon stuff. I mean, he is a genius.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Taylor.
He's the guy, that traveled with James Taylor, that has the real long beard. And I love his spirit. I love Leland Sklar.
Oh man, he's awesome. We're excited about him. We got Nicky Hopkins posthumously, of course. He was one of the greatest session piano players. And he played on every Beatles album, including the individual albums of each of the members. He just was amazing, a piano session player. We've got John Boylan. He's a producer who produced Boston's self-titled first record, and he also worked with Linda Ronstadt. We've got Dan Huff, who not only is an amazing guitar player, he's just an incredible producer and an all-around just great human being. He's just a good guy. We've got Keith Urban. And Michael McDonald and George Thorogood and the Destroyers. It's going to be a killer show. So there are still tickets available, and if you got anybody who it just loves music, like you were saying, I'm looking forward to you seeing the show and hearing what you have to say about it. But also, I understand that you have not yet been through the museum. Is that correct?
Well, here's the deal, okay? When I was reached out to regarding this by the nephew of the folks that started this, who is so proud, and he's such a great guy, and it's just such a wonderful thing, and I look forward to maybe having him on. We're going to do our show Wednesday live at the museum. So not only right from there. So not only am I going to go through the museum, but I want to give folks that listen to the show and want to come out and meet and greet with me that haven't had a chance to meet me, where physically. Tell the folks where, before we get to where the thing's going to be on Tuesday, physically, where am I going to be on Wednesday? I'd like to know that.
Yeah, on Wednesday. So at the Municipal Auditorium, actually. Okay. We share the building with the Municipal. We're on the upper floor.
Okay.
We're on the first floor or lower floor. The entrance to the museum is actually on the Gay Street side of the Municipal Auditorium. And you actually will be broadcasting from our radio room.
Right in the front, right? Right in the front?
Yeah.
Okay, hang right there. I got to dismount for my radio, folks. And then we'll do some extra time overtime and keep the conversation rolling. All our lines are jammed, and thousands are listening around the world. Stay right there. We're going to continue our conversation. I got to hand it off to the great William Pattison here on Fan Run Radio. Bow thy head when you say that young man's name, a star in the making.
Listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
When I think about being in the same room Tuesday night with the likes of Michael McDonald, and the likes of Dan Huff, and the likes of Lee Sklar. I watch Lee Sklar's YouTube stuff where he'll play a song, and he'll sit there and he'll kind of nod along, and he'll talk about what went on in the session. And one of my favorite things, man, about this era we're living in, Royce, is that people like you are keeping it alive, and we're getting access to these people, and we get to celebrate these people while they're still here. Because they wrote the signatures. They wrote the songs to the soundtracks of our lives.
Yeah.
It's crazy how talented these people are. And for years and years, I saw an interview with Steve Lukather the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And Luke was asked, okay, so if they would have given you writing credits, because really the people that come up with those signature hooks, how many credits would you have? And he said, man, I just don't even know. Because really, they would just pay those guys a fee to come in and play.
Exactly.
But they wrote so many iconic parts that are a part of our minds. And you guys are going to honor them on Tuesday night. Before we get to where we're going to be on Wednesday, because I'm going to put it on the blog and put it out there, I want to sell some tickets for your event, because this is how we fund something that is a labor of love for that family that you're involved with. And if you want to shout them out, but then also how you get tickets and the website and all that stuff, because you're telling me we're going to see a world-class music show on Tuesday night in Nashville.
Absolutely. There's stuff that happens at these shows that you'll never see anywhere else. When you get all these people on stage and there's a finale at the end and they're all playing together, it's just, it's like magical. So that the actual show, well, back to the shout out, I'll go ahead and say Joe and Linda Chambers and their family, their children, Britt and Blake and Brad Chambers. They're all heavily involved in the museum, but Joe and Linda are the ones who founded it, and they're the ones responsible for everything that we do here. Then we were talking about where the show is going to be. That's going to be at the Fisher Center at Belmont.
Okay.
It's a beautiful facility, like world class, man. I mean, it's like right up there with the Skirmerhorn or something like that downtown. It's really, really nice. And that's at Belmont. So you can buy tickets there in person, or you can buy them beforehand at our website, the musicianshall-of-fame.com. It's just musicianshall-of-fame.com.
musicianshall-of-fame.com, and tickets for that event to see. And now again, you're talking about Michael McDonald, you're talking about George Thorogood Destroyers, you're talking about Keith Urban. Let me tell you something about Keith Urban. That is a world-class musician. And here's the other thing. You guys have a house band, Jimmy Woods was telling me, that literally, if I can say this, just use an analogy here, that would light the woods on fire.
Oh, yeah. They're second to none. I mean, our house band is made up of people, past inductees to our museum here, but it's also current session musicians. I mean, these people are the best of the best, you know, and they play on everybody's records here in Nashville. Yep. Some of them play at the Grand Ole Opry every night. You know, it's that level of musicianship.
And and Jimmy tells me these people so passionately, like I feel so passionately about what we're doing. I've never done a show since we've been on down in Nashville. This will be my first ever show I've ever done.
Oh man, that's
down
so
there
cool.
where folks can come out. And I felt led when Jimmy told me that, because I watched his uncle do all those YouTube videos, and I know he's passed away, right?
Joe.
But Joe is just so phenomenal. His love of music and the way he honored those musicians when he was talking to them. I was just like, I love this guy.
Yeah, if you haven't heard seen our YouTube channel, for your listeners, those interviews they're so casual. It's just casual conversations with some of the biggest people in the music industry. And it's inside information you won't hear in other interviews. Joe just sat down and literally had conversations with these people and recorded it. And those are amazing. I'm glad you brought that up. And I misspoke about where to buy the tickets.
I'd hit it.
So the musicianshall-of-fame.com is where you buy tickets to the museum.
Okay.
But the event, because it's taking place at the Fisher Center.
Yes.
That's the Fisher Center, FISHER Center.com is where you'll get tickets, and it comes up under the upcoming events category there. So.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing, because there's a lot of moving parts here. You got a heart to serve. That coffee table book, by the way, you put together.
Oh, dude,
come on. That's is the most world class. That is so world class. Jimmy. Okay, so the way it works is Jimmy listens to the show. Okay, and I love music, and we talk music all the time on here. Music and sports. I stay out of politics. I love my music. I love my sports, okay? Because these are things that unite people. The thing that geeks me up about sports is that every race, color, and creed will sit in the stands and high-five each other over something they're seeing. And when you get to a musical performance, and I play music out too, I play, and I love playing. Like I'll sit in the park this afternoon and grab my mandolin. I'm playing tomorrow night at a winery. So I'm going to grab my mandolin and go sit out for about 3 hours today when I'm done doing what I'm doing till dark, and just sit there and get lost in it. But it unites people. It unites people. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you guys are honoring these folks. And when Jimmy reached out to me, I'm like, look, man, I'm in. Where do I sign? You know, you've done such an incredible job, you yourself, and so there's all these details. So again, to the listener, not trying to confuse anybody, but Tuesday night there's a Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Laura and I are going to be there as a guest of Jimmy, which is, hey, God bless you, Jimmy. Thanks for reaching out. And then I said to Jimmy, I want to, if we can, on Wednesday do the show from the time we do it, which you know the time of the show, those of you that listen in the mid-state. I want you to, if you can, jump in here and give us a spot to do the program from down there and let us shine the light on what you're doing at the museum.
Dude, the spot that you will be broadcasting from.
Tell me about it.
You'll be sitting behind a historic soundboard.
Okay.
That was used at WSM, at the Grand Ole Opry. It was at the Ryman. I mean, this board has been everywhere, and anybody that has played in Nashville at some point or another probably played through that soundboard. It's pretty amazing. But it was retrofitted with state-of-the-art technology.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just such a cool thing. You'll geek out over that radio room for sure.
And then there's some kind of door. Jimmy was telling me there's a door in there or something that was used in a studio. Tell me about the studio, because this is the kind of stuff they have for people to see. Our music fans that are listening, and there are thousands. People say I ought to do a music deal on here. We get off on tangents sometimes musically, and that's another thing you can do with music is you can talk about a memory or a player. Or like when you said Dan Huff earlier, a friend of mine texted me last night. He said, I heard you talking about that, Tony. You know Dan Huff's gone in that class. And I was like, actually, details, I get lost in details. And I probably saw his name on the list, and then I'm like, oh, my God, that guy's going to be there? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Tell me about the door, though, to that little room that we're going to be in, or that room we're going to be in.
Yeah, the door that's on that radio room that leads into it was from Studio B. And the people that have walked through that door alone, it's just amazing. It's the actual door with the sign on it, that same doorknob that people grab to open that door and walk in. It's just amazing. It was at the Quonset Hut down Studio B.
Listen, I'm such a sheep for music. When I was in Greenwich Village several years ago, I tried to talk my way. Somebody was recording up in Jimi Hendrix Electric Ladyland. And I tried to talk my way in, and they were looking at me like, look, you old homeless-looking dude, we're going to call the cops if you don't leave. But, man, I tried. I shot my shot, you know what I mean? But this is, when we get a chance to walk around now, here's the thing, and I'm really, really, really excited about being down there. You guys are going to have us basically set up in the front, so people don't even have to go in the museum if they want to come see us. They're just going to get an opportunity, though, that day. I asked Jimmy if we could do something for our listeners. I don't know if you guys have gotten that far, but kind of discount ticket. Talk to me here.
Well, we're actually going to try to we'll arrange a discount for your listeners to go through the museum, but we're actually going to try to give you a couple tickets to give away to that show we've been talking about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's a biggie. And they can come into the very front lobby. They can walk into and look through the window and see you guys doing your broadcast right there from behind that historic board in the radio room.
And that is down there in basically underneath the municipal auditorium, right?
Yeah. The big round building with the dome roof. And where it's just off of James Robertson Parkway, which is, Fifth Avenue from Broadway will bring you
perfect.
Here, that kind of stuff. But, man, we're looking forward to having you. I can't wait. Dude, just talking to you on the phone and hearing your excitement.
You pump me up. No, you fire me up. No, you're firing me up, man. You got me fired up.
I'll give you a tour around the museum. I mean, there's some stuff that it will blow your mind what we have in this place. It's crazy.
I want a final thought for you on the way out, and I hope you have yourself a Dwight Gooden. So give me a final thought here from you and where folks can go to get those tickets. And if you want to put something together for me to put on my blog, it's read by thousands, I'll be glad to help you get the word out on Tuesday night. Let's sell some tickets, man.
Dude, love to do it. I'll send you something.
Yep.
Just final thoughts. Thank you for having us on the show. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And thanks for helping us, get the word out about the museum and the show.
Yep.
And I will just, I mean, I'll tell you, man, I've been at every one of these shows since the beginning, and there's nothing like it, dude. There's just, you know, you see award shows and things, but when you get the collaboration of the people behind the scenes, the musicians, you know, Neil Young once said about the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum here, he said, if you want to see the hood ornament, go to the other, you know, Hall of Fames. But if you want to see what's beneath the hood, go to the Musicians Hall of Fame Museum. Then we had Garth Brooks say a very similar thing. It was like, you know, musicians don't necessarily record their own albums. You know, the person who's the front man isn't necessarily doing it. The musicians don't necessarily make the music, but the musicians make a hell of a lot of records. And that was Garth, you know, he said, you just got to remember that. So that's why we're here, it's just to honor those people. It's so cool to learn about that kind of stuff. I guarantee you can't come here without leaving knowing something you didn't know. And there's huge interactive area here, too. We partner with the Grammys, the Grammy Museum from L.A., and they've got an interactive gallery here that's really fun. But the museum will blow your mind. I guarantee it, brother. I'll buy you lunch if it doesn't.
You're the man. Much love to you. I appreciate you. And Royce, it was great talking with you. Royce Degree,
yes,
one
sir.
more
You
time.
as well.
And I look forward to meeting you, man.
You too. Thanks again for having us, man.
Hey, send me
Have a good
something.
day.
Send me something we can put on the blog, okay?
Will do.
Thank you, brother. I'll shoot it to you. Yeah, I'll shoot it to you.
Thanks.
Thank
Appreciate
you, brother. All right, man.
All right, dude. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. I love the use of dude. Matt, I'm so damn passionate about my music. I could do a musical podcast with a guy like that, and jump people on, do that so easily, Matt. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I mean, give you a way to work a little bit.
Yeah.
I've always kind of thought that you and Bear would have a really, really good musical podcast.
Bear would geek out, man.
Yeah, but it also would end with him threatening to whip your ass every episode, which would be a lot of fun too.
Well,
you could get under his skin a little bit too.
No question about it. And speaking of the way sports unite people, to what do I owe this call? Hello, you're on my 1 o'clock hour. Hi, calling my personal phone. Who's this?
This is your friend Titans Bill.
And you're calling my personal cell phone. Why?
It's because I'm having a hard time picking you up on 200-5402.
Oh, you mean all lines are currently busy?
Probably.
Okay, well, you'll have to try when one of the lines drop. You're out of here. What is that? I mean, Matt, what was that? What are we doing? This guy feels empowered to call my personal cell phone?
That's a Titans Bill call.
And then while we're interviewing this guy and we're, talking music and all this cool stuff, we've got a death blow to fight to the death argument breaking out with Celtic Drew, this Janoy Krebza fella, Orange Bloodval over here on YouTube arguing about our defense this year, and if you like going 6-6, fine. And these guys thinking our defense is going to be top of the mark. And listen. Do you guys realize that it's April? We still have May. We have We have Julio. We have Augusto. Do you guys realize we still have 4 months? And we're halfway through April. You punks and clowns. I mean, geez Louise, guys. Geez Louise. Louise to the G's. Matt, what did you think of Titans Bill bogarting Julie Herman's roast beef sandwich before we go back to the phones? Was that one of the dumbest things you ever?
See, that's the kind of Titans Bill call that Brian needs to actually torpedo.
Yes.
is the ones that get insane like that.
I try, but I keep getting accused of taking cheap shots, and anything else just falls on deaf ears. I say don't take another call, and then you take another call, and it's that. So I tried to, but of course, it fell on deaf ears.
I just don't.
And you took the call anyway, and you were on 30 minutes later, still taking the call for some reason.
The Titans Bill, we did 45 extra minutes with him that day, and I had a couple texts from a couple friends of mine. Well, Bear's one of them. Bear's like you're like 12 years old at heart. I go, yeah, I am. I'm kind of a complicated person, but I'm really kind of a simpleton, and I'm about 13. Is that pretty descriptive, Matt? I mean,
yeah, that works.
Yeah. Beers and TD says, is Titans Bill coming to watch a draft at your house? I mean, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Let's go back to the phones. Sean says UFL season is till June, and then CFL kicks off. Sean, I can't get into UFL, man. I can do a lot of things in life. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, Chris from Birmingham. How you doing?
Hey, Chris in Birmingham. Welcome in.
I just finished doing what I do with you most of the time. Finished eating a grilled chicken sandwich from Tony's Hot Dog Shop. That when you get down here, I'm going to take you for the best Philly cheesesteak in the Birmingham area. I know it doesn't do anything compared to what we've had in Philadelphia, but it's pretty good for Birmingham.
Well, hey, man, I'm in on that. Maybe we need to do a tour of the South.
Plus, it's called Tony's. It's called Tony's. So
maybe we need to do a tour of the Southeast of some of our spots this summer and do this deal.
Yeah, and Saw's Barbecue and Dreamland Barbecue, some really good stuff. But hey, couple things. I heard you say yesterday nobody cares about your Flyers.
Yep.
Hey, I care about your Flyers. I'm having a ball.
Oh my gosh!
Or maybe I should say I'm having a puck. I'm having a ball with what they're doing.
Hey, that game last night when that guy jumped one of our best players, and that Russ kid jumped him and beat him up and took him to the ground and ripped his helmet off and the whole deal. And then the Penguins afterwards bitched and moaned about the officiating, like something like it was all done to them. That was some great old school hockey, baby face and heels. Loved every minute of it. Loved every minute of that game last night. Incredible.
Yeah, and hard to believe that it's you got a 19-year-old and some of these kids that are out there and just playing like the game means something, which is awesome. But the whole conversation about buying players and all that stuff kind of makes me smile because I coached when my kids were little. I coached at the YMCA, and they just assign you a team, and sometimes you'd have these literally in a 5 and 6 year old league. You'd have a 6-year-old that could kick the ball. Like as hard as Pele or somebody, and just about hurt all the other 5 and 6 year olds. But that's kind of what it was back in the day. That's why I look at it, where you had teams playing by the rules, and you had other teams that weren't playing by the rules. But now it's kind of like when I coached an intramural team at Tennessee, and when you coach those intramural football teams, you can go all around campus and pick your players. And we were a touchdown away from the intramural championship one year because the field was level and everybody could go pick their own players from the whole campus full of choices. And that's the way I kind of see it. Barnes is like, hey, I got the whole country to pick from, and let's play with the big boys. And I think it's a fun it's a fun season the way that NIL and everything's unfolded. And I mean, Barnes has clearly set the culture for what he demands and expects, and he gets people to play it. So I think it's a great time.
Bino said it best. I mean, the way he phrased it, which I didn't really consider, which is, look, Tony, I love fantasy sports, and I'm watching these guys build fantasy teams. And if you embrace it in that way, here's a thing you can't do. If you think about the money all these people are making with these sports we're watching, you'll almost quit watching because it's revolting. And if you think about the amount of player turnover that goes on in these sports now, it's kind of revolting. But when the balls tip off or when the ball kicks off in football, man, it's still great sport. It's still great. It still means something to me. The day it doesn't matter to me, I'll be done with it.
Well, and you know as well as I do. So I don't expect you to remember, but I shared with you sometime back my granddad and all my mom's side of the family. They're all Phillies fans. So when my Uncle Dale and I were talking a couple years ago, and the Phillies were whomping on the Braves, and he was giving me a hard time. I'm like, hey, I'm happy for you because I like it when you spread the wealth in sport, and I think that's a blessing. And but the point in all this is, I myself am a Braves fan. I was born in Atlanta, and came to be aware of it when Hank Aaron was chasing the home run record. But ultimately, the point here is that the Mets are proving this year that you can spend.
That's exactly right.
You can spend the whole GMP of this country and not necessarily win. I mean, money doesn't make it happen. My son sent me something today that the Braves this year, even with their realities, they're the first team to have in Major League Baseball history to have no blown saves, a 50-plus run differential. I mean, there's a number of statistics that come into play with it, but it's just ridiculous to say money doesn't solve many, if really any, problems when it gets right down to it. I mean, it's people.
No! Listen, look at the federal government. You think throwing money at, like, the education problem in this country or some of the other problems, do you think throwing money at those things has ever solved anything? The answer is no. It's always been about people. That's why when I find organizations like the one that we get behind and we do the tailgate for the kids with Amachi Knoxville, I am always, and I mean always, when they call me, the door is going to be open. Or a frontline guy like Jim Wright with Fish Hospitality Pantry who feeds 11,000, 12,000 people in our community. And when times get tough like they are for some people, working people in the margins right now,
you got to make me cry, man. You got to make me cry.
Hey, listen, his numbers go up of people that need food. But I'm going to tell you something. He's got a big, huge binder, like yay thick, and it gets thicker, of people that he helps when they're in food crisis or in the food desert. And then they get on their feet. You know what they do? They become supporters of his.
That's right.
That happens, brother. But listen, I appreciate you. I love you. It's a shame. You're a member of Braves Nation. You sound like a beautiful guy.
Well, hey, one last thing, just because I'm driving through a rough part of Birmingham right now because there's a guy whose car broke down. And he dropped it off in our church parking lot, and so it's on my nickel that I had it towed back to his place in this part of Birmingham. But when the guy picked it up to tow it back, I went to Tony's and I got Darius a giant cheeseburger combo, and I got one for Jaquan.
Let's go.
It is, brought it back to him, and my point is that when it all boils down, people are people created in the image of God, and that's how we are given to treat one another and discover a new friend in every part of town, in every part of the nation. And that's what life's all about, man.
You're my man. I love you. Thank you, brother. Keep doing God's work.
Okay.
And that's good stuff, and I appreciate you sharing that, and I didn't mean to make you break down there and cry, but here's the thing. we're all a little afraid of each other. You know, we're all a little different, and I get that. And anybody that says they're not is lying through their teeth. And we're all, you know, we all have a little prejudice in us. That's kind of a human thing. But I love you, man. I'm for you, not against you. And then back on the sports front, the Braves have a great team this year. Let me tell you about the Phillies. Phillies have lost like 9 straight games. I was telling Jack Fritz this last night, who does the afternoon drive in Philly. And I loved Fritzy. He does this podcast, baseball podcast. Really, really funny guy. Really good. Lives right near kind of where I grew up. I'm just really proud of him. He's a young kid. He's just a super guy. Expecting his 3rd child, just salt of the earth people. His uncle came down to a Tennessee football game a couple years ago, and a couple of his best friends. And I hosted them and took them to Rob Troxler's, one of Rob Troxler's. And by the way, more on this. There's a deal coming, a world-class meat smoking deal. Those of you that like to smoke your meats, you smokers out there. But there's a world-class event coming. Anyway, we were talking last night. Me and Fritzy were texting. I said, Jack, I got a confession for you. What's that, Tony? I can't watch this team. I don't like the players on it. Matt, have you ever felt that way about one of your teams? You just kind of like the reality comes to you that these guys are, especially in pro sports, these guys are old. And especially in baseball, they're old. It's the same lineup. They've run it back. I'm sick of looking at some of these guys, and I'm done with them. You ever done that, Matt? You ever done that? Because I'm there.
Not often. I don't watch a ton of pro sports, really. I mean, I guess the Astros are really the only pro team I follow.
And the Astros wouldn't let that happen, by the way. The Astros will never let themselves get in the spot the Phillies are in right now, which is a bad, old, boring baseball team. So sick of looking at JT Realmuto. So tired of Bryce Harper. So tired of him. So sick of this shortstop we have. So sick of this sucky-ass third baseman and this damn second baseman. I mean, screw those guys. Those guys suck. And then this
the Braves
Dave
bounce
Dombrowski,
back was so predictable.
This Dave Dombrowski clown, D-U-M-B-R-O-W-S-K-I,
you want to rip the second baseman too?
this Dave Dombrowski guy went out and signed some washed guy to stick him in right field. He makes Cash Steeler look like a hell of a player. I mean, we're fried. And they finally released Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker's been fried for 3 years. Damn it. I hate the Phillies. I hate looking at them.
How predictable was the Braves bounce back?
Brian, the Phillies have and I mean, they got Crawford in center field. The lifeblood of these baseball teams is bringing up kids. That's the lifeblood of these teams, not running it back with quadrillionaires. F those guys. This Trey Turner guy, F him. This third baseman we have, it's a sad story. His parents stole his money. Have y'all followed that? Alec Boehm's parents stole his money from him. How bad is that, Matt? To wake up one day and realize your parents have stolen your earnings from you. And he's in lawsuit with them now.
Wow. I'm going to have to look into that. I've not heard
look into that. That's so
that
sad.
Sucks.
Yeah, and it's all on his
that's
mind.
Awful.
And he's literally like batting like 0062 or whatever. And I hate it for him, but I hate it more for me.
How many stories are there like that, though?
Oh, I don't know, Bri.
I'd say there's more than just one.
I hope there aren't
had money
parents
stolen from them.
I hope there aren't parents out there stealing their kids' money. God, what could be worse than that? Somebody said you never liked Bryce. Yeah, you're right. Because I don't like guys that pose and front. He fronts. All that Philly fanatic stuff, all that pandering. He's a Cowboy fan. Hey, be a Cowboy fan. If you're a Cowboy fan, be a Cowboy fan. I much represented Mike Scott when he was a member of the Sixers, and he was a big Redskin fan, and he also had his little fan base that he called the Hive. But here's the thing about him: he showed up in an Eagles parking lot at a tailgate outside their stadium with a Red Sox with a Redskin. What do they call themselves, Brian? They're not the Redskins anymore. What do they call themselves? The Commandos.
The Commandos.
He had
Commanders.
He had an old school Skins jersey on because that's what he was rocking. And I'm sorry, I didn't do it. That's what the team was named. And he about got into a fist fight with like 3 or 4 of these Yo Adrians that jumped in his face, Matt, in the parking lot. This 7-foot black man that weighed like 300 pounds. Matt, he could have beaten the absolute hell out of this Italian family that jumped in his face, but it did not stop these guys from jumping in his face. Do you like those idiot Eagle fans, Matt?
I'm sure they were like doctors and lawyers.
Oh,
really
it was the most
education guys.
It was the most idiotic, moronic. And Mike Scott was like, look, guys, if you don't get out of my face, I'm fixing to absolutely beat the hell out of all you at the same time. Who would jump into the face of a guy 7 feet tall, big old world-class athlete playing in the NBA? No offense.
Someone who's drunk, someone who's like had too much.
One of those idiots.
That's what it is.
In other words, one of those idiots. But I find myself, it's April, and I hate that baseball team. And I told Jack that last night. I said, Jack, I got a problem. I need you to help me. And he said, I can't help you with that. Like this Tennessee baseball team, I don't hate these guys. You know? I mean, they're trying. They're kind of flawed, and they're trying. I don't hate them. But when you got somebody you're looking at, see, that's the whole thing about, he talks about, when you spend a lot of money on, just because you spend a lot of money on something, doesn't mean it's going to work. The New York Mets, Matt, are a great example of that. The Mets went out in the offseason, and the Mets spent all this money. And the Mets below, they're horrendous. The New York Mets.
They did finally win yesterday.
Yes.
They didn't keep Alonso, so they obviously weren't going to spend it on him.
And I love Petey Alonso. That was one of my boys. Hello.
You would like a Florida Gator.
Oh, he's a great player. You didn't like Petey Alonso? Hey, Matt, I wasn't following the league back then. What kind of player was he in the SEC? Was he a terror, Matt?
Oh yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah,
he was. I mean, obviously, I couldn't imagine what he would have done over the last couple of years in this era with the much hotter bats than that he played with. But you know, you could see if he played today, he would hit 500 feet home runs like every other weekend.
And the dude looks like a little penguin.
I didn't think he'd be this good, but I knew he'd be a big leaguer.
The dude looks like a little penguin out there. He's a hell of a player, man. I love some Pete, and he killed the Phillies. Killed them. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
I just popped for Pete Alonso. Looked like a penguin. That's good.
He does, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
No, you nailed it. I'd never thought about it, but there's something about him that, yes, penguin is the perfect way to describe it. Hey, real quick, Tony, I'm running around and don't have a lot of time, so super fast. Jeff Goodman tweeted out, I don't know if you guys already talked about it, but I kind of thought you might be able to look into this and see if you can get some background or get some insider info for us. Jeff Goodman tweeted out, according to him, a lot of coaches right now are holding money back, waiting on the 5 to play 5 thing to come out to see if what's going to happen with seniors who just played basketball for Kentucky, Tennessee, whoever. If some of those guys might be getting the 5 for 5, which is mean they're going to get to play next year. And how much would we as Tennessee Volunteers love what we've added to just have Felix Akpar come play one more year for $2 million?
Well, here's the thing. That also impacts Gillespie.
That was my next question. Who would you rather have with this current team that we've built now, Felix or Gillespie?
Well, I have news for you.
You could
they've got
possibly
they've got $9 million. They could do both.
Both. Take both. But I would rather have Felix. with
Here's-
what we
here's
did.
the
They could have 3 players come back.
Yeah, here's the other thing. Nate Ament
For some continuity sake.
Nate Ament's also lurking.
Of course.
I mean, how great. Think about this. Think about having a serious organized sport that generates $1 billion at the end of the year just in their tournament. $1 billion from television. And they're doing this bullshit here where they're actually going to introduce this, Rusty. What kind of serious, I call it non-professional sports. That's the most, or unprofessional. That's the most unprofessional thing in the world to do to these people, isn't it?
Well, it's what Bino has been talking about, the 5 for 5 thing, and I get it. The problem is they have no plan for when to institute it. Do we wait until next school year to institute it? That way the guys that were just seniors, it doesn't start with them. It starts with next year's seniors. But they probably can't do that. That's not fair. If they're gonna pass it, they probably got to pass it before May 27th when the deadline hits. So
here's the thing. I talked to an administrator today who's been in college sports for about 3.5 decades, getting ready to get out. Told me today the reason they're wanting to do this thing with the retroactive tag, because they know the minute they pass it, a bunch of agents are going to sue them, and are going to sue them. See, people were saying, why is Aberdeen in the portal? Lee talked yesterday about this. Why is this person in the portal? Why? The whole reason they're doing this is they're wanting to position themselves for when it comes down. Now the belief is it's getting ready to pop. Here's the other ramification. Tennessee football's in a spot right now where they probably need a quarterback next year, like an arm just to get them through the year. They could completely change the trajectory of their season if they take an undrafted guy, get on the phone with an agent tonight and say, don't you dare sign that contract. When they see, or this weekend, after they see who doesn't come off the board, don't you dare sign with XYZ and be a camp arm. We've got you covered. We could pay you some money just to sit there. Don't dare do that.
What's it mean for Ty Simpson and Joey Aguilar?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or a whole bunch of other guys that are
not Aguilar. He won't fall under it because
he's already played
6 years,
7 years.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But your point is still the same.
Ty Simpson. Yeah. A bunch of other seniors, guys that probably aren't even going to get drafted.
That's right.
All those guys that could play quarterback. What's this all going to mean? Again,
that's right.
Anyway, I talked too long. I'm sorry, buddy. Y'all have a good one.
No, thank you.
And that thing on next Tuesday, man, I'm trying to figure out a way to skip out of work and come to Nashville. Because that's
Thank you, my brother. Yeah, we'll have more information on the we'll have more information on that, and then I'm going to try to get them to give us a cut rate because I'm going to get involved with those people. Give us a cut rate and let people walk in and see that museum because they need people to see that thing, and then people will spread the word. Grant Ramey posting cryptic messages about Joey Aguilar. He can post all he wants, Michael. The guy's played 6 years of college football, and I love Grant Ramey. But how in the world, unless a court tells Joey Aguilar he's going to be able to play, and the courts have already spoken on that, haven't they? Matt, Joey Aguilar doesn't make any sense in this 5 for 5 thing, does it? He's already exhausted that, right?
Yeah. That's a separate deal. His would be whatever that Pavia lawsuit that he originally was attached to. I don't know where the standing on that thing is. And I don't keep up with all this stuff. It's all silly and stupid.
Right.
And I just, when fall camp starts, that's when I'm gonna learn the roster and learn who's on the team. I got actual sports that I can follow to keep me interested until then.
And I don't blame you. Because that's exactly what it's becoming. Like yesterday, and people were giving me a hard time about it. But, Matt, I screwed up those 2 DBs. They're both here for a year. How in the hell can anybody keep track of all this shit, Matt? The way it flies at you. You know what I mean? Yesterday, I got Hood confused with McCoy, and it's like they're barely here long enough to even get to know their names. That's the truth. Like, if you sat back and you thought about how many guys signed with Tennessee right in February or December, how many of those guys end up somewhere else? How many players over 4 years, just in college football alone, do you encounter that just touch Tennessee? I bet that number's got to be, 200 in 4 years? It's got to be unbelievably high if we sat down and looked at it. Tomorrow I'm going to talk with Bino. I'm going to make a list, and I'm going to text Huguenin too, and say, of these guys that aren't going to get drafted, because really, probably 15 or 16 of these guys are going to get drafted as quarterbacks by the time it's all said and done. I also got to talk to some of my draftnik people, because I say 15 or 16. I don't know the number. But the 15 or 16 guys, but if you go from like 15 to 30 in there are some intriguing, I looked at it earlier, there are some intriguing names potentially for Tennessee, and that's what's happening right now. And Rusty, that makes a lot of sense, because that might be what Kentucky's doing. But if you do that and you wait too long, that's a fool's errand. Because then, like some people say, Tennessee counted on the Joey Aguilar decision. They thought it was going to be a slam dunk in the Knox County court, and he would be getting through. Matt, didn't he take his name off the suit of Pavia to do the thing in Knox County?
Yes, he did. But I don't know how the legal stuff, if you can get to it, or if that ruling comes down in favor with I would assume the ruling would apply to Aguilar as well, right? Because it would be like a blanket thing, right? Or it might just be those specific players. So
I have no idea.
Who knows?
I have no idea.
I get. I don't expect Aguilar's not coming back. But
if I was at college football team, and specifically the Vols, I don't know what they pay these guys to be camp arms, because that's what they call them. But you sign a guy to like a 1-year deal, and you bring him in to be a camp arm, and he's like 16 to 30, and he gets cut in camp. Why in the world, if you're Tennessee, wouldn't you just pay an agent a retainer and say, hold this guy till, and you don't even tell anybody about it, hold this guy till the court case happens. And if you were a player, sure, you're gambling, but eventually that 5th year thing's passing. Like, we know that right now. Think about that. Hey, Matt, if you're Tennessee, wouldn't you take $100,000? The way we're throwing money around right now, and hold your place with a quarterback after this draft, not to sign a free agent deal?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you can do that, yeah, you need to work the system any way you can. Yeah,
there's no reason you can't do that.
You think you can do that, and they are quote unquote eligible. Which, I don't know if we've had bounce backs like guys who didn't get drafted that went pro technically in the NFL that came back. I mean, we've obviously done it in college basketball with all the time, even in season. But yeah, I mean, if you can find a quarterback, because you made it work last year, and you can kind of take that same approach and find lightning in a ball twice there.
And again, the administrator I talked to today said the belief is it's going to occur, and the belief is it could. Because I was thinking basketball, and he says to me, hey, Tony, it could affect Tennessee's football situation too with the quarterback. And I went, oh. Because here's the thing we do, right? And Brian and I were talking about this yesterday in the portal era. You get past that football season, and you almost forget about it. Because now you just got through the basketball and you went to the Elite Eight. The weird thing about, and I talked about this in the blog of that today over at tclub.team, and I'd like your thoughts on the blog if you want to email me. Conclusion I came to today is it's very important for Tennessee to get 2 first-round picks tonight. It's just very important to start doing that. Guys that you need to sell that in today's day and age. It's a sign of a vital program trying to compete at the top of the deal. So I want McCoy in there tonight, and I want Hood in there tonight, even though those guys were Vols for a minute. That's not the point. But it's extremely interesting. You have to be nimble if you're Josh Heupel and you're Rick Barnes. You have to be nimble. You've got collective. You've got billionaires that'll spend that money. You've got to be nimble here, man. You've got to be nimble. And you've got to be quick. And you've got to get over. back to the phones. This legal candlestick. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. Long no time talk to you,
Hey, Columbia. What's up, my man? Muletown, the Muletown Festival a couple weeks back. I was looking at those photos online. I was looking for you, man.
No, ball games have kind of kept me moving the last few weeks. And that storm we had come through about a week ago or so, it made plans change for Columbia State's baseball team. It knocked down their wall out from center field all the way to the left field line, bent their foul pole, did a lot of damage out there on the field, but nothing else happened out there. But anyway, I just wanted to call. I was thinking about Nate Ament, and I listened to you a little bit over the last several weeks, but I was thinking the latter part of the basketball season, I watched a lot of him on the court. Kind of kept my eye on him a lot when he was in the picture where you could see him. I think it would pay strongly for him going to the NBA if he comes back to Tennessee, works a little harder, and staying focused on the court, like he lost focus a little bit a few times. And heck, if you can make $7 million, why not come back and have a great college final year if it's going to be that? And what a fantastic way heck, if it was me and you're offering me $7 million, baby, I'm coming back and I'm going to get better. That way, when I do change to the NBA, I'll get more money. I mean, he'll be a little better.
Well, he would go in. He would go in next instead of going in 8 to 12 or 8 to 13, whatever he's going to end up. They think 8's like the high mark against in these projections. Who knows? But come back next year. Class is not what this class is. Work hard in the offseason, get stronger, gain about 40 pounds. I'm going with the El Gigante model. Look him up. And I'm telling you right now that you build this guy up, and he looks like Giant Gonzalez, El Gigante, and all of a sudden you're a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. You've completely changed your future. It's sort of what the kid at Alabama, Phylon, that's what that kid did this year. Now, here's the thing. There's a gamble with that because you do it, you could get hurt like the Toppin kid, and so you don't want that, Greg. But you're right on the money, brother. You're right down the line, Jerry Rafferty. You're speaking the truth right now.
Hey, I think he'll be all right if he gains a little weight, like you said.
Yep.
That's going to make him stronger, help him stay healthier.
Yep. Matt, do you think he lost focus last year? Greg says the man lost focus last year. Matt, you buying that?
No, I just not. I just think he kind of got banged up at times, and he was maybe sometimes trying to do a little too much and lost his confidence more than anything. That did affect this play, but no, I think he can. If he came back, he could be. He could wind up maybe being like the leading scorer, like in school history, like for a season. I think it's like 25 or 26 that it'd be Bernard King, but like he could literally challenge to be the best player in the country.
I'm calling the shot right now, Greg. Nate Ament decides to come back, which I never thought I'd outer on here. Okay, I'm just being honest. He comes back, Greg. He's National Player of the Year if he doesn't get hurt. That would be my thought, because they will feature him. Rick Barnes loves this guy. He doesn't like this guy. He went all in 1 year ago on this guy, and his staff said, "What are you doing?"
Took him a couple months to feel comfortable out there, in a way.
Brian, imagine how he attacks it this year. He will lead.
But he won't. That won't be the issue if he has a second year.
Brian, he'll lead. I'll tell you what. Guys. You're pumping. You're from Muletown right now. I'm going to walk out of here and kick a hole in my quarter panel like a mule. You got me jacked up right now, dude.
Hey, Tony, just think, buddy. With who he had on the court with him last year, who he'll have on the court with him this year, coming year, by God, he ought to be 10 times better. So you can flow with the guys on your court.
Don't tell Matt that.
Matt
get in the groove. Don't tell Matt that. He wanted to bring all those 11 11 lost players back. I said, I flush them out of here. That's what I say.
Hey, on the way out, guys.
Yeah.
I know you love music and you love memorabilia and history and all that. Everybody listening to you, and you too, Tony, for sure, if you've never been there, take a trip during the summer months. Go to Sheffield, Alabama, down near Florence and Muscle Shoals. Go to Muscle Shoals Sound, the home of the Swampers. You won't believe it. I went down there several years ago. It's like the building is not beautiful. Old rock building on Sheffield Highway, I think it's called. No, Jackson Highway in Sheffield, Alabama. And they've had the Rolling Stones loved it. The Rolling Stones recorded there.
That's right.
Bob Seger recorded there.
That's right.
Leonard Skinner.
That's right.
Chris Stapleton still records there.
That's right. The great Bob Seger recorded that song that Al Jackson wrote, Old Time Rock and Roll, and that was all the Swampers. He really didn't want to do the tune, and they did the tune, and he was like, damn, that kicks ass. But that was all the Swampers, and the Swampers are totally next level. And I had Rick Hall. There's an interview that's on my website somewhere under our book corner with Rick Hall, who started Fame Studios down there.
Yeah.
And the Swampers became the sort of the answer to that, but they kind of started with him, I believe, as the genesis of that. But that was one of my thrills, getting a chance to talk with Rick Hall, who at that point was sort of on the back nine. I think he has since passed away. But, man, he was so fascinating. And the book he wrote about that time and place and that little spot in Alabama, isn't that remarkable, man, how that just kind of happened there?
Hey, it is beautiful. Lena Ronstadt, Paul Simon, Aretha Franklin, the Staple Singers. I mean, some of the great Staple songs were recorded there. I mean, hell, the place is a place to go if you're a fan of music and history of music. Put Muscle Shoals Sound on your list. Make sure you go. They got some great T-shirts, too. I got a few of their T-shirts.
You're my man. Hey, we had a guy earlier that wanted me to get down to the Crossroads with go visit the Crossroads for basketball success. But, yeah, I want to get a T-shirt from there. I'll tell you what, down in Memphis, I went down to that museum, and that's really cool. Have you been there?
I think I did. It seemed like I went to one down there with a friend of mine years ago.
The problem with that was they burned or tore the original one down. I had that Gordon guy on, the author, Memphis Music, and he was talking about the Stax Vault studio. And he said they were throwing such things out that he went down there and out of the trash pulled out some reel-to-reel tapes from some sessions. All those great players, they just threw the reel-to-reel tapes out, Greg. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
And he said he has all kinds of cool outtakes. And he owns them now because they threw them in the trash.
Wow.
Because they never thought that we... this is like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that we at this point in time would want to commemorate and celebrate that stuff, Greg. Can you imagine that?
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, I was in radio a long time, played music when I was in radio. And, But, hey, that place, everybody needs to put Muscle Shoals Sound.
How far of a drive is that from Nashville, Greg, or from like where you are in the Mule Town?
From where I'm at, I can go through Lawrenceburg on Highway 43.
Yep.
And it'll probably take me about an hour to get there.
Wow.
Not bad from Columbia, but...
So Zach's asking, did the Stones record Brown Sugar there? They do that stuff, that country record? Is that what they did? Dead Flowers and all that stuff?
That one, and they recorded... The first one they recorded was... Wild Horses, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Great song, man. That's a great song. One of my favorites.
They wanted me to go to... He wants me to get on to the Crossroads, too, where Robert Johnson was. Talking about selling our sports soul. That's in Mississippi. Go down to the Crossroads. But you're my man.
Anyway, I thought I'd tell you about that place. they got a documentary on YouTube. So you get on YouTube and search.
Oh yeah.
Muscle Shoals. It's about a hour-long documentary. It's damn good to watch.
Love that stuff. I love the Wrecking Crew. That's why next Tuesday I'm going to use a wrestling term, I'm going to be a total mark. Tuesday night and Wednesday, I'm going to mark out for those things. But listen, I appreciate you. Thank you, Greg. Matt, so just when you think we have the answers, they change the questions on you. Now we got to worry about keeping a quarterback was going to be a camp arm, maybe grab him. I mean, this thing, and people were getting on me yesterday for confusing a couple of DBs that were here for a year, Matt, jumping my ass about it. How the hell does anybody keep up with this stuff, Matt?
I don't think your average fan does. I really don't. There's no way to. And unless it was your job, you have to be a total sicko to be invested in the roster, throughout an off season.
But even as your job, right? It's so
it's extremely difficult. Yeah,
because my mind is not nimble like y'all's.
It's a lot easier for basketball than especially football and even baseball. But because you're only dealing with a dozen guys.
That's right. And in basketball, I mean, it's a few guys. In football, it's how many guys, Matt, over a 4-year span do you think touch one of these programs now? 200? 250?
Yeah, I'd say probably on average somewhere between 150 and 200.
Yeah. Commissioner Bockwinkel has a final word. He says, I want to thank Donald Duck Dunn from Stax for inspiring me to play the bass guitar. And that'll be our final thought. Matt, thank you. Enjoy the games tonight. I love you. I appreciate you. And Donald Duck Dunn.